I'm assuming that's how we arrived where we are.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we are getting closer, ever closer. Now 2 of 3 preseason games in the books for your Kansas City Chiefs. Grab a line if you want to talk about it, 913-381-810-810. That's 913-381-810. Happy to chat with you. It don't cost nothing. If you're a little shy, you can hit me up on the Twitter, @SorenPetro, SorenPetro. We'll get to some of your tweets perhaps as well. But in addition to the good and the bad of the Kansas City Chiefs' 8th consecutive loss?
Yes.
8th consecutive preseason loss.
Yep.
The Royals have won 8 in a row. I mean, what is a bigger story? Preseason football or 8 straight wins from a team that I buried in May?
There is some history on that, if you...
Yeah, I do share, please.
This is the 7th time in the divisional era, which goes back to 1969, the entirety of the Royals' existence. 7th time that a team was at least 20 games under 500 after August 1st and won 8 straight games.
7th?
7th time. The first time...
Going back how far?
To 69.
Oh, just since 1969. I thought you were going to say ever.
The divisional era.
Okay.
7th time. First time in 17 years.
And 6 of them won the World Series.
Amazingly, yes. No.
Did not happen.
No. The last time was the 2009 Nationals. Other teams to do it, the 03 Brewers, 2000 Pirates, the 96 Pirates, the 84 Guardians, and the 71 Expos. 96 Pirates won 11 straight after starting at 59 and 85. The 03 Brewers won 10 straight. The others won 8. So 7th team to do it, and of the other 6, only 4 of them had a worse winning percentage at the beginning of that streak than the Royals. So if you're going to say 403 or worse, they're the 5th team since 69 to win 8 straight. It's inexplicable. Just history tells you that doesn't happen.
Well, I'll give you folks out there listening to the program here today an assignment. What does it mean? And then we'll revisit that.
Yeah.
What does an 8-game win streak now mean? David Lesky and I tackled that last night on our Kaufman Corner podcast. We'll discuss what David and I came up with, but I'd be interested in your thoughts. What does an 8-game win streak at this point in the season, with the way the season's gone, what does it mean? And listen, I am leaving wide open the possibility of nothing. And I have no doubt that many of you are saying nothing. I'm going to save you the time. Don't need you to call. Okay? You can. You'd be like, I really want to hear myself say it don't mean nothing. Okay. That's great. Maybe you can, poke fun at NFL owners along the way and their affinity for the prostitution. We could do that.
Their love for the world's oldest profession.
Yes. And the need when owning an $8 billion NFL franchise to haggle on price. If you haven't read that story, Google Jed York, and you'll have some fun there.
Mm-hmm.
No, cannot confirm that Bob Kraft was in a car across the street with a telephoto lens. Cannot confirm.
I'm getting some company one way or the other.
But I like to share that. Can I just, as a sidebar before we dive into the Chiefs preseason game, 913-381-810-810. I mean, what kind of a toad must you be to be that rich and still need to be like, I got to get $140. You heard me right. $140 little setup with a prostitute. I mean, come on, man. Can't you just be like, can I show you a picture of my plane? Like, wouldn't that, man, you rich guys really got it tough these days. If even owning multi-billion-dollar corporations has you like, only shot I got, $140 from a cheesy website.
Charlie Sheen once was asked about that. He
Don't
says,
pay him to show up.
And he says, sometimes you want what you want.
Yeah.
And you don't want to hassle with it.
Yeah.
So for someone like that,
I think he also said, I don't pay them for sex. I pay them to go home.
Yeah. Yes. Right. That's what it's about.
I just think
it is.
if we can get prostitution into the program early on a Monday, I mean, what a week it's going to be. If we open with billionaire owners soliciting prostitutes off websites, and I like the idea. I've told this story many times that as a talk show host, I have to carry the stigma of what I think are a lot of really bad talk show hosts. Like, oh, all you want to do is stir crap up. You don't really care what's going on. And I'm like, that's not how I do things. But I get it. Lots of people in my profession have done it. So it's my job to change your attitude that we're not all like that. I just like that now we've got 2 sitting owners that have been pinched for prostitution. So they can wear that.
What was more unlikely 2 weeks ago today? That we would use the word prostitution in the first 10 minutes of our show on Monday.
But by the way, I'm just giddy. I'm just laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Just to hear you say it makes it had the effect I want.
Yes.
I put a smile on your face. Yeah. What a jackass. Billionaire dropping $140 to get a prostitute. I mean, this is going to be a week.
What's more unlikely? That, or would have been more unlikely? That, or if someone
Royals
had said,
win 8?
No, if someone had said, by the way, Craig Kimbrell is going to get the save for the Royals' 7th consecutive win in 2 weeks. You'd be like, who? Craig Kimbrell?
Definitely the Craig Kimbrell save after the 7th win is way, way more unlikely than an NFL owner getting pinched for prostitution. Definitely now. We've got a serious trend now.
There at least was precedent for that.
So again, we're gonna get we got Chiefs and Royals up on the board. I'm gonna get to both of you guys here in a minute. 913-3810810. Can we just also when did you rich people become just so freaking stupid? Did you are you all just trust fund babies? Did any of you actually make the money yourself to where you have a wit? What dumbass uses their personal phone and doesn't go, maybe somebody could figure this out?
I think the link between
even if you're like, you know what, Charlie Sheen was right. I'm going to go down this road. I don't need the hassles. By the way, he is married with 2 kids as well, just on top of this. Charlie Sheen was at least single when he would talk about these things. But even if you're like, Charlie Sheen's got a point. I'm going to do this. Don't you go, yeah, but they caught Charlie Sheen. He got busted.
We know that happened because they caught him.
Yes. Maybe I'm no smarter than Charlie Sheen. Maybe I am. But they seem to be able to figure out a way to catch people doing that. You know what? I'd like to do it, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get busted. Doesn't that, go on to confession if you're, Catholic, and confess your sins that you wanted to go ahead and do it. I didn't act, brother, but I know the thought is just as bad as the act, so I'm here for some Hail Marys. Go ahead and do that, but at least you're not public enemy doofus like Jed York is today.
I think if I'm going to follow someone else's lead, it's going to be a guy who thought he had tiger blood coursing through his veins. I think that's that guy right there.
By the way, there is no evidence that Jed York was following the teachings of the prophet Charlie Sheen.
Yes.
I think he just wanted a little. And didn't think a lot.
Yeah. Carlos Estevez.
Yes. Which is the given name of Charlie Sheen, by the way. We're not talking about the Royals' injured closer, just to be clear. Let's draw that line of demarcation. Charlie Sheen is his Hollywood name. His birth certificate name is Carlos Estevez. Yes, just like the closer.
Yeah, I loved it, the fact that when they signed him, they actually, in a way, signed Rick Vaughn.
Yes. Chiefs played football.
They did.
Were you impressed by what you saw from the Chiefs in their second preseason?
Yes. No.
Well played.
Yeah, no. Again, I think probably more good than bad, but enough bad to talk about. and I'm not just talking about Harrison Butker.
What was the goodest?
I think the goodest.
And what was the baddest?
The goodest to me was, I think, the speed on defense from some of their top picks, at least from our Mason Thomas and Mansour Delane on back-to-back plays. He wasn't credited for the tackle, but there was the screen pass to the wide receiver that preceded the near pick six from our Mason Thomas was blown up because Mansour Delane read it and had the explosion speed to force the receiver inside where he was tackled by Chris Roland Wallace. Then on the next play, Mar Mason Thomas reads it, jumps the pass play, and almost has a pick six. So they are a faster team up front, which looks great.
Okay.
That was big. On the same side of the ball, I don't know what FAU, how long it's going to last, but pedigree to me is important. And FAU is not a walk-on or a undrafted free agent. He was a guy who was taken with a first-round pick, so that's the kind of guy who I'll always kind of, let's see. And he appears to be healthy. Everyone's talked all camp about the get-off. We saw the get-off, not the best rep from the right tackle, but he blew the guy past him, swatted his arm down, and then leveled Jake Browning to the point where it knocked him out of the game for a play. That's nice. Just depth along in that spot. That's two things.
I do think that am I the only one that thinks they wanted to win?
I think they did.
Like that they were kind of tired of the losing streak?
Yeah.
So if they did want to win, how much does that concern you that they did not succeed in that?
I don't know. They did want to win, but they didn't want to win so much that they kept the second string in the starters in for any longer than that. They were pretty much right up to what Andy Reid said. Starters played. They think they changed quarterbacks with about 6 minutes left in the first half. First time they got the ball after the midway point of the second quarter, they changed quarterbacks and they changed, shift change. So they were true to their word on that. So I think they wanted to win, but they wanted to win within the setup that they had, within the plan that they had, which to me isn't really committing to winning. That's just like let's go for it.
Yeah,
but they went for it with backup players.
I think if I were to say what's the most troubling, I would put it at the performance of the offensive tackles.
Yes,
I mean I think it's apparent that they really need Josh Simmons, and I think we're seeing something we've talked about a number of times here, just how thin they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that is, they can't handle a bunch of injuries or they're going to be in big, big trouble. So, it's that to me is.
Benson looked like an undrafted free agent.
I mean, I thought that was the case. So I'm not, that doesn't, that's not new news, but boy, you just see it up close and personal. You're like, okay. Yeah, not ideal for this team.
Ruben Bain went Reggie White on Khalil Benson in that one snap. Hump move, out of my way.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that jumped at me is that, like, okay, Sam McDowell said it. Well, do you have a battle for right tackle, or is it like the quarterbacks? If you got two, you don't have one. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's what I saw out of that. And I think there's reason for concern. I mean, I think the idea that they're just going to bounce back and go 14-3, not seeing that.
Mm-mm.
I'm not seeing that. Jalen Moore I like better at right tackle, and if Josh Simmons can handle left tackle and you can put him on an island, then I think they've got a better chance. And let's be clear, it's going to look a lot better with Patrick Mahomes making it happen. Like, I think that's definitely going to be a positive, and I think all these things will work better. But, you see some of the things just like Khalil Benson late getting off the ball, Cyrus Allen late getting off the ball, and how it's screwing up the timing. Like, it's not what we're used to.
No.
But those are two rookies.
Yeah. And Andy Reid gave him a little bit of a lifeline today, Benson. He talked about the fact that it was he was struggled with the silent count. That's something he hadn't done before. Well, what that means you can't use the silent count when Khalil Benson's playing right now.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a qualifier, but it's not one that makes you feel much better.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it. I want to leave plenty of time. We got a lot of people, got a few people lining up already. Grab a phone line right now. 913-3810810. Jalen Royals look good. I think there's a positive there from the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they'll like that. I think you liked what you saw from Mansour Lane early on. I think that's a positive. I don't want to sit here and just be all negatives, all doom and gloom. Harrison Butker did knock through a 69-yarder, and he did miss 2 43-yard kicks. One an extra point, one a field goal, but he missed 2. The good and the bad, the yin and the yang that is Harrison Butker appears to be continuing. Idea that it's all fixed, doesn't feel like it. Not right now, not when you miss those 43-yarders. 913-3810810. We'll take your phone calls next here in the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
I wouldn't say that.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Did you enjoy watching some football outside? If you know my friends at All Weather Decks, you can do that. All Weather Decks builds great outdoor living spaces, patios, decks, porches, screened-in porches, pergolas, even those all-season rooms where you extend the roof out over it, or even if you want the screened-in porch to extend the roof out over it. Yeah, no matter how big the job is, no matter how complicated it is, All Weather Decks builds it. Go to allweatherdecks.net. You can check out photos of finished projects, see the great work that they do. You can get an estimate started online. Look at photos of finished projects, look at all the awards they've won, 24 Angie Super Service Awards, A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They're only about 6 or 7 weeks. Why 6 or 7 weeks, do you say? Well, that's how long it takes to get a permit. If you can get the permit quicker, then they'll start quicker. They'll be there before anybody else. They'll work on it exclusively. The crew comes and works on your job. They'll finish it faster than anybody else. And most importantly, they build it better than anybody else. So transform that worn-out deck, that crumbling patio, into the perfect football oasis. Enjoy watching football on a beautiful fall afternoon, or make it your pre- and post headquarters. Before and after the game, a great setup increases the usable square footage of your home. It increases the value of your home. It gives you a great place to make memories with family and friends. So what are you waiting for? Call Cass and the guys at 913-206-1974. That's 913-206-1974. And don't forget the website. It's allweatherdecks.net. That's allweatherdecks.net. And relax.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be, and if what I'm describing is you, it's likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Heartland Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Many home buyers assume their bank has the best mortgage option. I'm Taylor with Smart Home Lending. We compare multiple lenders to find a competitive term and lower fees, while offering a smoother process from start to finish. See what's possible today at smarthomelending.com.
In 1900 in Mazatlan, Mexico, 3 German brewers brewed the first Pacifico beer, an exceptionally drinkable Pilsner-style lager, known today for its crisp.
One more thing on this Jed York prostitution thing.
What a great song.
Well played, by the way. When he was the head coach of the 49ers, people made a big deal out of Jim Harbaugh being weird because he drank whole milk with steak. He reported to Jed York. And Jim Harbaugh was the weird guy. Did also get this message. Maybe haggling on price is his kink. We don't kink shame. Well, except maybe on a billionaire haggling over a prostitute for $140. Then maybe we do.
Oh, boy. Sports. Sports are fun.
Billionaires are funny.
They are. They have just enough money. It also is, I think the link between wealth and intellect is probably overstated to some degree.
I think if you're not the person who made the money, yeah.
Yeah. I think sometimes even the people who make the money, that they don't, they have a knowledge of making money, but sometimes beyond that, it's nothing else seems to add up.
Yeah.
There are people like that. And that guy's got a lot of money. He's going to be smart. Maybe not.
Maybe not. 913-381-0810. Let's talk some Chiefs football. Sean in Jersey wants to talk about the Chiefs. Go ahead, Sean. What's on your mind, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Sabrina? I got a quick question. I know it's early in the season, but Peter Woods, 2 games, no statistics. What's your thoughts on that?
D-Tac.
That's all I'm really calling about. Now I'll hang up.
Okay, appreciate it, buddy. D-Tackle's not a spot to get a lot of statistics. I know Chris Jones and Aaron Donald had made it look easy in their primes to get sacks from that position, but it's pretty hard. We'd love for Peter Woods to be the next Chris Jones. I'll encourage you to go back and look, and let's do it together, Sean. Chris Jones rookie year. Let's remember this is the rookie year for Peter Woods. But Chris Jones rookie year, and we know the kind of player he's become, Chris Jones rookie year was not one where he stuffed a sack full of stats either. And I would recite those to you if I could get anything to load.
Yeah. He played 18 snaps on Saturday night, 30%. He played fewer snaps than Emmanuel Ogbah did. Fewer snaps than Harris did. Fewer snaps than Herkett and McNeil. I mean, he wasn't like he was in there a lot. 18 snaps is basically three drives, maybe 4 drives. And none of those drives was he next to Chris Jones. So,
yeah.
I like the fact that he didn't get blown off the ball. That was nice. He actually stayed on his feet and made a couple of nice plays.
I think you see the athleticism and the power. Like, he's not going to be without the ability to accomplish things. But I think we build up in our head. First of all, we're talking about putting him right next to Chris Jones, and that's a tough comparison to have, especially as a rookie. And I think from that standpoint, it's we're expecting him to be all caught up to Chris Jones.
Yeah. And
you're just not going to see it. Let's give him some time. Let's let him scheme. Let's let him twist. Let's let him stunt. Let's let him do some of the things that they want to do, as a defense to be more effective. Chris Jones, rookie year in 2016, played in all 16 games, had 11 starts, 4 passes defense, 2 sacks, 17 solo tackles, 11 assists, 5 tackles for loss, 10 quarterback hits. So, the following year, 6.5 sacks, then 15.5, 18, he really became the Chris Jones we know. 9, 7.5, 9, 15.5, 10.5, and then 5 and 7 the last 2 years. So I'm not too concerned about it yet, but I do think the idea that he was going to step in and be Chris Jones equal and they were going to be this unblockable tandem, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think all defensive linemen, there's a reason usually the coaching that they're getting down there is not as good. And a lot of times they don't maybe listen to it or really sharpen the skills that are being taught to them because they don't have to. They're just bigger, stronger, faster. They're the best of the best, and they can throw around college offensive linemen. And now they get up here, it's like, oh, wait a minute. That's the other All-American.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can stay in front of me. All right, so now what do I do? Yeah, I got to learn the chop down on the arm and swim and, all these other different hand fighting techniques and leverages. And then, oh, by the way, right now he's probably like, well, I got run responsibility on this, and my key is the running back. So is he staying home? And so they're not playing as fast. They're not reading it as it goes. And so they're rookies. Some of them, a handful of them jump out and play great. Almost all of them need a year, and they get better throughout that year and are a much better player in year 2 and then even better in year 3. And then after that, you're kind of the player you are. But I'm not too worried about what's going on with Peter Woods yet. But I also am not expecting him to be Jeffrey Simmons.
No.
Not now,
no.
not ever, frankly.
They really aren't even a tandem yet because they only played, one snap? And I think even the one snap that Chris Jones played last week was not with Peter Woods next to him. So they've yet to be on the field in the game side by side. And the other thing is that they schemed maybe a little bit more Saturday night. We saw a defensive back come on a blitz, but they're still not really doing anything of note defensively. They're not.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty vanilla. So.
But I will say that there's
as you said, that's a spot that it's hard for, like, Mansour Delane can flash and blow up a guy. You can make that play outside of the scheme. It's hard for.
But I do think you can also draw the connection that they have lost 8 straight preseason games, and those are the games that led into a season that, one, they did go 15-2, but they couldn't really put anybody away. Right? Almost every game was a one-score game.
A 12-1 score.
And then a 6-11 season. And
yes.
so they're also not just lining up their talent against the opposition's talent and watching it win.
Yep.
So, but I also think most of us are like, yeah, there's work to be done. We're aware of it. And now the question is, are they going to be able to get it done? And how fast will, the new people get up to speed? 913-810-810. Let's talk to Roger. You're in the program, Roger. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, do you want to talk about the Royals?
Okay.
Does it matter? I would say yes. Of course it doesn't matter because it's playoff implications in the competition recently. However, we got to figure out who can play so they can find some relievers. The hitters can actually hit, break out of a slump. This team needs anything positive, right? With the circus and some of the decisions and the difficulties, they need anything positive. I still have friends who care about the Royals. Now, maybe I need new friends, but they're like texting me, calling me, making sure I heard the score and all that. And then third thing, I think the number of wins matters. 73 wins over 64, 65 wins. I think it looks – I don't know if that matters, but it sure feels like it does.
Yeah, I think the quick answer is – and Roger, thanks for the call, man. That was good stuff. And I'm with you. I got buddies who care. I care. When they play, I want them to win. I'm rooting for them to win. When it's over and I look at the standings, I'm like, I wouldn't mind a top 5 pick again. But when they're out there playing, I expect those guys to play to win. We've always said tanking is an ownership and a general manager assignment. It's not the assignment of the manager, coaching staff, and players. Their job is to go out and try to win games. And I think we've all felt that this team was better than their numbers. We just did not want to hear that, and then we still do not want to hear that, oh, see how we finished, that's who we really are, so we're not doing anything to make this team any better. We're just going to sit and wait for more of our prospects.
Yeah, that was a big theme among people on social media, on Twitter at least, on Sundays. Like, you get the circle, Royals start off horrible. Start winning some games in August.
Around.
Everyone thinks they're going to be good. They don't make any changes. Boom, circle.
You get
it's happened often enough that it doesn't become a thing if it's not true.
Yeah, I mean, I think David Lesky went through it all on our podcast and said, here are the years. He said, first of all, they do routinely, as an organization, do better in the second half than the first. Well, let's get to the bottom of that.
Yes.
Why do you suck coming out of the gates? Like, I think that's, can you go back and be like, hey, we've been screwed on the schedule. We always get all the big boys. Like, they seem to play favorites, that the Yankees and Red Sox get nice, cushy schedules so we can get the big markets off to a good start. And so the Royals are the opposition to all the big markets. I'm not saying this is true, but I don't care what. Figure it out. And if that's it, then start yelling about it. Go public. about, like, why does our schedule always have all the favorites at the front of it? Now, the schedule's out right now, so that'd be pretty rich to get to that. But I can't figure out why this entire organization, and definitely Matt Quattro's better in the second half than he is the first half. And is that a sign of a young team? Is that a sign? I don't know. Is that a sign of a team that doesn't have stars but has a little more depth, and so that depth starts to show up better in the future, where the teams that are laden with stars come out hot and then their guys start going down and I don't know. I have no idea, but figure it out. Start better. Figure out what you're doing in Arizona and why it sucks. Okay? Get healthier. Some of it's bad luck, some of it's not. Like Michael Garcia. Again, I'm quoting David a lot, but he had a lot of great stuff in our Kaufman Corner podcast yesterday. He said, send Michael Garcia to whoever Lorenzo Cain went to work with, and let's solve the little hamstring problem. I think it's pretty easy to think that the first one was the injury and the second one was a result of the first one. He may not have been 100%, putting more stress on the other leg, and he's just trying to gut it through the season and get some numbers up on the board. I don't know, but figure it out, right? You're in the get it right business. And so I think a lot of people still care about the Royals and should still care about the Royals. And my question, though, is on the does it matter? You had several angles that you were going with there, Roger. 73 sounds better than 64, but you're still not in the playoffs. I don't think 73 wins. Will 73 wins sell more season tickets next year? Put more revenue into the ball club that they theoretically could spend on the team?
You lost fewer than 90. If 73 keeps it 73, 89, 7s and 8s, that's a little closer.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm rooting for them to go 6-0 on this road trip. Beat Toronto 3. I think it's Toronto, then Cleveland, right? Mm-hmm. Beat Toronto for 3, beat Cleveland for 3. Now you got a 14-game win streak. And over the course of the 8 games, they've gone from 11 out to 7.5 out on the wild card. Still with 7 teams to pass. And I asked David, when are you legitimately in the running? Because we're down to what, 32 games, 33 games?
Let's see, 58, 70.
He said when you're
31.
31? He said when you're 4 back with only 3 teams in front of you. Okay.
Exactly 30 games.
Yeah. I want to be clear. I think they're 22 and 33 on the road, but I think they're probably going to go 2-4 on this road trip. That's just kind of who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, this is more coincidence than it is solved. The Tigers were playing pretty good baseball, but they had dropped 3 in a row before the Royals came. They came to play the Royals, and I'm sure that the littlest bit of, I'm sure they were thinking of a couple of years ago when they sold, Jack Flaherty, and then went on a run and got into the postseason. I'm sure that was the rallying cry for a while. When they dropped 3 in a row, I'm sure it's kind of like, yeah, we lost Scooble. We suck. That's it. And so, yeah, I think it is a little schedule-driven, for sure. Absolutely. But we've mentioned it time and time again, championship clubs don't house other winning teams. They house the losers, and then they play 500 against the other winning teams. That's what they do. These are 2 teams that are below 500, by the way, with the Royals, with the Blue Jays and Guardians. Just barely below and very much alive in the wild card. So while they're standings-wise much better than the Royals, they also have a lot more to play for.
Yep.
I don't think there's ever going to be a point that the Royals are 4 back in the wild card, just because I'll take the rest of the season compared to the last 8. Yeah. But what it matters, it matters for some self-confidence. I think it does matter. I mean, it matters if you were thinking like, well, we're awful. We got to blow the whole thing up. I think you're seeing that there is a core. I think you're also seeing how much Vinny Pasquantino means to this team, being healthy and swinging the bat the way he's capable of. He's had homers and long doubles here of late. He hit one off the very top of the wall. Was that yesterday or Saturday? I can't remember which one it was. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
The lineup looks different with Vinny hitting like that. And so, yeah, I think it matters. I still think the team needs to fit together, right? And that means solving the 2 catchers, 2 first basemen with 1 playing in the outfield. Like Jack Caglione hit a little bit when he went back out to the outfield. Hasn't hit that much the last couple of games, but such a small sample size. But I think Bob Witt, when he plays like an MVP, this team looks a lot better. I mean, he's been on a heater. And, you never have all 9 guys firing, but I think Nick Lofton is establishing himself as a guy that's at least, Bill Pacoda-esque, if nothing else, for you older baseball fans, and that's a quality utility guy that can play around the diamond. He's better in some spots than others, but, he's getting on base. He's running the bases. I think we're seeing some positives for this club, but it cannot be like, oh, no. See, we were 8 over 500 from this point to the end of the year. Or let's say they go 2 over 500. We were 10 over 500 from when that winning streak started. That's not who you are. Who you are is the 162.
Yeah.
And look at your team that way and know that it's substandard. And then get to work on what is really serious change. And it's not just about adding. Go ahead and subtract something. I mean, because I don't think you're going to be given a blank checkbook to go work on this team in the offseason. So, the $23 million for Seth Lugo to have, what did I retweeted it? The 4th worst ERA in baseball amongst people who qualify for the ERA title.
Mm-hmm.
$23 million. You get to the offseason and somebody wants to come call you about Michael Wacha. Remember the tale of Seth Lugo, the guy you didn't think you could trade. Daniel Lynch. I can't figure out this problem with the first inning, and he's still not going real deep. This is one of the slowest stretching out processes I've seen, but he's actually proving me and many others wrong. I still think in the end his career is going to have many more innings as a reliever than it will as a starter, but right now he's doing pretty good. So, I hope I bring that up to say, trade Michael Wacha if that's what you need to do. Trade Noah Cameron if that's what you need to do. I mean, but don't just sit on your hands and be like, we're just going to wait for everybody to get a little bit better. Because that's pretty much what you've done for the last couple of years, and it hasn't resulted in success.
And that approach kind of throws a wrench in the idea that I like to say, well, I judge wins or losses. I judge what's left by the success of the core players for the future. Well, the Royals they treat almost everyone on this roster as if they are a core. So I guess winning 8 in a row with the guys, if they are going to bring everyone back, I guess it's good. Normally I'd say I don't care what happens. It'd be great if the young players are leading them to this 8-game win streak. But if they're going to treat almost everyone on the team as a core player, I don't think that's a great approach to take. But if they're going to do it, I guess it's good that they're winning.
I think you need fresh blood every year. I think that's one of the things that the NFL's system forces, and one of the reasons why the Patriots were successful. I think a lot of people would say, like, oh, the Patriots' success in winning championships, or even let's take the Chiefs' 3 Super Bowl wins. Oh, that's so much harder than, say, like what the Steelers did. For the whole run, yeah, but on the 1 year to the next, I don't know that the free agency doesn't actually enhance a dynasty. And from that, one, you too can go out and buy on the open market. You're not just losing guys. Theoretically, you should lose more than you have because you're the championship team. So people covet your players, and they come and give them more money because they have more cap space because their team sucks, so they shouldn't be paying a whole bunch of people a bunch of money, right? That's how the system's supposed to work. But I think the flip side of it is you're constantly forced to put hungry players into the equation. And you can't ever come back with a roster that's fully fat and happy.
Mm-mm.
And I think there needs to be an element of that mindset with the Royals. You should not be trying to bring 26 guys back. And your 40 should be probably changing 10 guys every year minimum, right? And rotating guys out and constantly trying to get younger and hungrier.
Yeah. I mean, how much, even with the team that's the cores were brought back, how much of 2015 is attributed to the fact that they didn't win it in 2014? That's a team that came back, that had a lot of guys come back, but they were hungry because they had unfinished business. That's a different kind of hunger, but it still speaks to your point. Guys have to be going for something that they haven't gotten before.
Well, 16 and 17 would certainly reflect that.
Yes, and then they won it, and they came back, pretty much the same group.
I think there's a value. I don't think that you carry the momentum into next year. Not at all. Right. I think you have to restart it. If they're good to start next year, it won't be because they were good to finish. But I think there is I think this does help define who the club is. It does avoid the idea, I think it kicks to the side of the road if they continue to play at a high level, not just these 8 games, but that they don't have to completely tear it all the way to the ground. But I think it should also point you in the direction. I think it's valuable in the sense that, okay, we are better than this, so why didn't we play better? And I think there'd be I had some friends over that were having a good time at Matt Quattro's expense yesterday, and I just didn't engage. I just didn't want to talk about it. But I mean, I think you're fair. It's fair to say, like, was Matt Quatraro part of the problem? Does he not know how to go to the whip out of the gate? I think that's a fair question. Are his lineups? I had a couple friends say, listen, he got lucky. You don't change a lineup in a win streak. Like, well, you do. I'll argue that all day because it's a marathon. What do you want to do? Enhance this win streak at the cost of blowing out, somebody who's already playing on a sore ankle? No. It's a marathon. And Sunday day games are a good time. Almost everybody is sitting guys. It's a good time to give somebody a break. And especially if they really need a break and you've got an off day Monday, now they get 2 days. And it's almost 3 days since they played when they take the field next. Those are all things that you have to do. That's the job of the manager, right, is to figure those things out. So I think, 8-game win streaks should not happen because you play just the best guys all the time. They should happen because your depth is good. Because the other team's not playing all their best guys every day either. So you got to be able to win with your depth. But, I mean, I think this should give J.J. Piccolo and Matt Quatraro asking the question, well, why couldn't we do this sooner? What was it? And do we need to be harder on them in spring training? Do we need to be softer on them in spring training? Do we need, another bat? Is that what we're really missing? We're 1 bat short? And I would say yes. I think they would agree. But maybe it's 2 bats short so that we never have there's always at least a couple of guys that are hitting. But when we only really have 5 hitters, we can have 5 go cold and we suck. When we have 5 hitters and 4 are hot, then we're a pretty good team. Right? This should give you evidence to be able to circle and identify whatever your problems really are. 913-3810810. Ted, you're first up when we come back. 913-3810810. You're in the program. Is there a reason for crosstown traffic right now?
No, this is a good song.
Okay, just a good song. 913-3-810-810. You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810. WHB. Matt Derrick coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll talk Chiefs football there with Matt. Ted wants to talk some Royals baseball. You're in the program, Ted. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, thanks for taking the call. A quick comment on Chiefs. I got a couple things on the Royals,
Sure.
but I wanted to say that, the Chiefs, the team really needed a good draft. And right now, I would say that there's a chance this could be a really good draft. It looks like there's 4 or 5 guys that can play in the league and contribute. So
Well, I think one of the best things that we saw was even let's go back and say that maybe we're going to be bumping up the grade for the 25 draft if Jalen Royals is going to play the way he played. I mean, this is the first sign of life we've seen out of that kid since he got here, and we've talked about it a lot. Year 2 and then maybe even year 3 is a big year for a wide receiver to make a jump, and if Jalen Royals can do some of the things, we saw some elusiveness after the catch. I'm with you. I mean, if they're going to get back to being a Super Bowl contender this year, they need a good draft, and they need, whether it's an FAU or a Jalen Royals or some of the young guys that maybe have been on the roster just because of their draft picks, not because they've really done anything. If they can start doing some things, then yes, it starts to look a lot better for this team.
Okay, and in regards to the Royals, I'm kind of with you when you talked about spring training, and I was thinking about this. It almost seems like, and I almost want to put this on the players a little bit, maybe more than the organization, but maybe it's the organization. You can't use the first half of the season as spring training. I'm going to get myself into shape. I'm going to work on these things. I'm going to take the first half to get to where they are today, and it just seems like, I don't know if the players aren't prepping, maybe Salvi being in a little better shape, maybe Vinny being in a little better shape and taking care of his body. I don't know if that's where it lies, but it just seems like maybe that's how the season's gone, And
yeah.
It seems like kind of the organization as a whole, it seems like it's been that way for a while,
Yeah, I don't know if, like I said, I don't have the answer. This is not like I'm stating go do this because I know this is what the problem is. I don't know. Does every team that trains at Arizona suck to start because it's at altitude and dry, and all the Florida teams get off the better starts because it's humid and muggy, and so it's more of a true, I have no idea. I don't know. Frankly, I don't care. It's not my job to figure it out, but it is yours, and this is a consistent problem, and it needs to be solved by this organization. And I think they will. In fact, I have all the confidence in the world that they will look at everything. That's what they do. Sam says, well, you think you should check the medical staff? He said, well, you're 20-some-odd games below 500. I think you should check everything. And I think they will, for sure. But I do believe, I still think that one of the things they've got to do is they've got to be willing to move their guys more. Like the transactional thing has really slowed down over the last couple of years. It's like they're real transactional when you could tell. It felt like JJ was sitting there as the number 2 guy going, well, I wouldn't have kept that guy, and I wouldn't have drafted that guy, and I would have moved this guy on. And he did all those things. But now they're his guys. Well, he's still got to look at it and be like, well, that guy's not good, and that guy needs to go, and be willing to move him on and not just, love him so much because you loved what his dad had to say when you sat in his living room when you were thinking about drafting him, or because you loved the chat you had when you were talking to him as a free agent. If he sucks, get rid of him. Or if the team doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, and you got to trade a good guy, then you got to trade a good guy.
Well, his speech or his interview after the draft, and he went down through the list of the everyday players and said, this guy, we're solid here, we got Izzy out center, and if you're not looking to get better in center field and in left field, and I think you have to question whether Vinny Pasquantino is an everyday player. I didn't realize his splits were so bad. He's really not an everyday player with his defense at first base. He's gotten better. But then when you see what he bats against left-handers over the last 3 or 4 years, and then to say that, that Salvi's here another year, you've got to be looking to get better at those places. And I'm kind of surprised that he didn't come out and say, I've never heard him say, we're going to do whatever we can to get better at certain positions or at every position. I just think you have to look at that.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I the way I would put it, Ted, because I think they would say, well, we're always trying to get better at every spot. And Ted, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate the call. Good stuff. I would say, and I know the time you're talking about where he had the conversation after the trade deadline, and he went around and pretty much basically told you, we're good with the position players. You're not, and I know I'm going to take this time right now when he had a nice weekend with the bat, but you're not okay in center. Okay, that's not good enough. And Isbell's defense is going to fall off. Who was it? What was it? Who was the Astro Blue Jay center fielder we were talking about the other day? In fact, I think he might have been on the Astros when the Royals beat him in 15.
Colby Rasmus?
Colby Rasmus was a real nice ball player, right? Oh, pretty good. Okay, offensively, but great defensively. Then the defense fell off. And it does on everybody. When it was an eye test, you went out and wowed as a 19-year-old Andrew Jones. And then you just carried that defensive rating until you were like 38. And then they would look at putting you someplace else. They have data now that says they all fall off at like 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. They're not the same guy. So you can't have a defense-only center fielder for more than a couple of years because that defense doesn't keep playing the way it did when he was younger.
All right, who was the last Chiefs player to get a punt return or kickoff return touchdown? Brought to you by Twin Peaks.
Yes, indeed. Talking some football here. Matt Derrick, brought to you by our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's best when it comes to your parking lot. One contractor, people, all things parking lots. That's what we're talking about here. Gann Asphalt and Concrete's been solving parking lot problems in Kansas City for 30 years. Maintain a safe, professional-looking property, whether you need asphalt paving, crack sealing, concrete repairs, or parking lot striping. Gann delivers quality work you can trust. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com. Get you a free estimate today on that seal coating. I know it's warm, but I know I'm about 30 days away from Nathan going, hey, by the way, remind people that the seal coating season is going to be wrapping up and our schedule is filling up fast. So I'm going to tell you to do that now, okay? Don't be a putz. Matt, speaking of putzes, how about that Jed York? Not you.
Wow, I was feeling it.
How about that Jed York, huh? I mean, that's a guy. He's gonna haggle on price no matter what.
Man, I did not know
billionaire owner.
I didn't know you could plead guilty so quickly in this world of today and just have something close. I mean, you get arrested over the weekend, and now he's like paid a $1,100 fine. And
what do you think about my theory that all owners should have to answer questions about the fact that they're, like I have to hear about people saying, talk show hosts, oh, you guys just want to stir crap up. Oh, you love it when they lose. I get that all the time because there's, there are folks in my line of work that do that. That there's some accuracy in it. But I don't do that. I certainly try not to just do that. But I have to wear that. That's the cross that I bear. Mm-hmm. I think it's time for billionaire owners in sports to carry the cross of prostitute hounds.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, just pick a random NFL owner, and I mean, I don't know the good NFL owner to point to. I don't know the good one to say, oh, hey, that's the upstanding billionaire citizen that does
John
everything
Sherman
right.
seems to, he's not football, but John Sherman seems to check all those boxes.
Yeah, this seems hard. I mean, I've never heard anything of it. So baseball's a little
I've heard a lot
different.
of really good things about John Sherman.
Baseball's a little
and I've seen
different,
his
but-
name on a lot of philanthropic endeavors.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I understand that people are like, oh, yeah, it still has a multi-billion-dollar corporation and we're taking tax money. I hear you. But so is every other small market. They're doing it in Milwaukee. They're doing it. That's the cost of doing business. Do we want baseball or not? I do. And, I don't live in Kansas City, Missouri anyway. No, but I live in Kansas.
Arthur
with the
Blank
Chiefs.
gets credit for having cheap prices at the concession stands, but I don't know if, I mean, that might be the best, best guy NFL owner there is, and I'm not even sure that Arthur Blank's a great guy.
I've heard some really positive things about his commitment to USA Soccer, that goes above and beyond. There isn't really a financial return on that, but he built a great facility. Maybe I'm wrong. It's like, oh, yeah, they gave him $2 billion. I don't know enough about it, but I just listen. I will say this, since we're kind of on this subject. Every major construction project in a city comes with all kinds of discounts. The only people that pay full freight
and overcharges, sure, probably.
The only people who pay full freight for anything are us regular Joes.
By and large, yes.
So, I mean, if you're upset about the billionaire owners, then dig a little deeper and, really try to affect change on the system. Because just bitching about the Royal Stadium, you're number one, it's already happening. You're late to the party. But dig in and affect change on some of the projects you could do. I mean, if you really don't like public money being given to rich corporations and rich people to build their buildings, then start taking a look at all the buildings. Don't just make it this boutique bitch you get every time a stadium comes up every 20 or 30 years. Get to work. You go to work for your community. And I know there are some people, and I'm not talking about everyone a lot of those people do. That's what they do.
Yep.
And this is their chance in the spotlight because a bunch of us are paying attention to it like we wouldn't normally pay attention to. But the whole, like the Royals and Chiefs are the only thing in this town getting a free ride. Come on. Open your eyes.
I'm old enough to remember that when pretty much every stadium was built entirely with public money, there was no team money involved whatsoever. They got all the benefits, and I mean, it's changed actually quite a bit. So it's great, but it is what we have, and it's better than what we used to have.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I'd have to do a deeper dive. I just know that the deals that the Royals and Chiefs are getting are competitive with what it takes in other small markets.
This is true.
And I really dug having the World Cup here. And we don't have the World Cup here if we don't have the Kansas City Chiefs.
And we're very fortunate.
And probably Sporting Kansas City as well. We don't have. I know both groups worked on it. I'm not trying to exclude Sporting's work, but I know we didn't use their facility for it. But the training facility help. But it was cool having the teams just training here. And we don't have that if we don't have Swope Park and the training facility that Sporting has and KU athletic facilities. And, it's cool. And I like Chiefs football, and I want to have a Super Bowl here, and I want to have the Final Four here, and I want big events, and I want big concerts, and that's what those buildings give us a chance to do.
Yeah. And to their credit, I honestly do not know of any Jed York type incidents with either John Sherman or Clark Hunt.
Oh, I would agree. We
got that going for us.
But I think we should start making a list of questions to ask, because they're always well-timed when they're available to just talk about what they want to talk about. Hey, real quick, your thoughts on billionaires and prostitutes? Can we get that one out of the way? That's from 7 months ago.
I almost forgot.
Jed York, did you see him messing with his phone at the last owners meeting? Can you see what site he's on?
Probably.
Did you think, hey, Jed, not now. No, don't do that, Jed.
Probably texting with Robert Kraft on tips.
Yeah.
Instacart, man. You sure? Uber what now?
I just rich people are funny.
They are.
They are. Someday I hope to be one of them.
Yeah. Well, that's
it's a big club and you ain't in it, as George Carlin said 30 years ago.
Always apropos.
Yes.
Never mind. Let's move on. Let's talk about the game. What did you think? Who looked good? Who looked good, Matt? Who'd you like out of that preseason game?
Liked what I saw from Mansour Delane.
Okay.
That was fun to see. This is going to be a guy, obviously, as he said today, if you're going to make a mistake, do it fast, do it hard, do it with all your effort. I liked what we saw in short period of time from him. I thought, honestly, again, the secondary as a whole, especially your first team and second team group, even though I still have no idea who's going to be the starters. I don't know who the backups are going to be, especially at corner. I think safety you pretty much haven't figured out. I don't know who they're going to play and when they're going to play them, but so far, at least in 2 games, the secondary of the guys at least that you're going to have on your team look decent. The first team offensive line looked good at times. I will say at times the tackles were another question. They're
part of that first team offensive line.
They're part of the first team offensive line, but Khalil
they didn't
Benson,
get destroyed on every down.
They're not in the first team spot. So you're just talking about guard to guard.
Guard to guard for sure. And even then, you don't have Trey Smith out there, so that's a factor. But Jalen Moore's not going to be your starting left tackle. He'd be on the right side where he's more comfortable. Khalil Benson will be a backup where he, I think, is appropriate for him right now.
But you don't just get to hit the healthy button when the regular season comes around.
No,
it looks like
and I will say this I think we learned from that game the other night. The Chiefs can stomach one injury, I think, on the offensive line as long as it's not Josh Simmons, and they'll be okay. Josh Simmons gets hurt, I think there's a whole other kettle of fish.
They're screwed. I think they're categorically screwed when he goes down.
If you have to play,
they don't have an
Josh
answer.
Simmons,
They played Wanya Morris over Jalen Moore at left tackle last year. That tells you all you need to know.
And he ain't here no more. The idea was how the offensive line play. Well, they weren't destroyed on every snap.
I think
I look at it.
I think this is they're reaching their greatest fear. I think they've made moves like when they couldn't get back in the day when they made the run at the 49ers left tackle, Trent Williams. They made the run at Trent Williams, and they finally realized we're just being used to get him more money from the Niners. He's not coming here. They immediately pivoted and went to Joe Tooney. And I think there's a feeling, I think when it came to Trey Smith's contract, I think Trey Smith should have been traded. When Creed Humphrey said he'd sign and Trey Smith said no, they should have traded Trey Smith right there and save the resources for a tackle. And I love Trey Smith, and I hope it works out. And as the years go by, that contract will become more palatable. They've already blown through it. Lindenbaum for interior offensive linemen got to $27 million. I mean, we'll blink our eyes and they'll be at $30 million for guards, and that contract won't look so bad. But, if there is any way to have the resources to go, I think it's clear they need to get the tackles right. That was a big part of their success early on in this run was they had it right at tackle. And especially with the Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz, And then what was the combo for the next two? It was
Wiley.
Orlando Brown won one of them, right?
Yeah, in 22.
And it was Juwan Taylor.
Juwan Taylor, yeah.
Who won the second one? Who was left on the second one?
It was Donovan Smith and another. There was.
I'm trying to remember two. It was a revolving door.
I think was it Juwan Taylor win two here? How many years?
No,
he only won the second one, so then who was the first?
That must have been
Orlando Brown and
is that Wiley?
Is that Andrew Wiley?
Andrew Wiley was.
Yeah.
Andrew
So
Wiley.
I remember after they won that second in a row that they had won 3 Super Bowls with 6 different starting tackles.
Yeah, I'm not going to say you should have done whatever it took to get Laramie Tunsil, because I don't know what it would have taken to trade him in conference. I mean, he went from the Texans over to the Commanders, right?
That was 2 first, wasn't it?
Yeah, and but I mean, I do think start hoarding resources to start solving problems. I mean, how far are we away from hearing? Well, could Kingsley Suamataia play right tackle?
I don't think we're ever going to hear that. I mean,
You don't think so? You don't think that he's grown up at left guard, and now if you tried him at tackle, he'd have a better shot?
I don't think
He'd
so.
have a better shot, but still not be any better?
I think you might just be, at that point, ruining 2 positions.
Okay.
So, and it's not that he wouldn't be better at that tackle spot than he was, but I'm not. To me, it's a little bit like Khalil Benson too. Some guys, even if they have the physical traits for guard, even if they got the height, the weight, all arm length, all those things, doesn't mean they're going to be a good tackle. And sometimes there's guys. I mean, Joe Thuney was a decent tackle. Didn't have the measurables, but he was talented. He would have been better, and he was a better option than a lot of guys that they had at left tackle. But it varies, and that's the other thing too about tackles. I'll be honest. I mean, to me, they did the right thing with Josh Simmons. Has it worked out the way that they have wanted to this point? Not exactly. Will it work out for them going forward? I don't know. But that's what you have to do, because you're right. Like you said, I mean, go out and get Laramie Tunsil. Well, that trade. Well, one, yes, 2 first-round picks. Chiefs might have had to give up more, especially because considering their draft pick value. And it hasn't exactly worked out. So in today's NFL, it's just to a degree just like quarterbacks. If you're not drafting your own tackles and developing them, there's no shot. Nobody's going to let a halfway decent tackle reach free agency.
Yeah, it's been since probably Mitchell Schwartz. I mean, who was the last?
Yeah, and that was thanks to the Browns. I mean, 29 probably other NFL teams wouldn't have let Mitch Schwartz hit free agency.
How about the Browns let Mitchell Schwartz walk and released the next Super Bowl winning right tackle for the Chiefs and Andrew Wiley?
I mean,
the gift that just keeps on giving. Those Cleveland Browns.
But they've been great since. They've had a wonderful week.
Deshaun Watson. They announced
back, baby.
The fans boo a guy off the field, and they announce, you know what, you're getting more of him.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got to get
the
that
number
money's
one
worth.
for the start of the season.
It's such a weird decision. It's almost like
eat it, dog pound, eat it.
He's got like $110 million left in his deal, right?
Did Todd Monken think, you know what, I'm really mad that Watson said I'm going to make him have to eat his words now by making him the day one starter, so he has to go back out later today and say, I was just getting emotional. I was kidding. Don't boo me again on opening night.
I don't think Deshaun Watson is frankly calculating enough to have thought, well, they boo me now. I'll go out here and I'll set this place on fire and then they'll release me. I don't think he's calculating enough to do that. But, I mean, the Browns, they're never going to win with him.
No.
They're never going to win with him. And he is never going to be whatever he could be playing there. I mean, it is just so nice to know that the Chiefs need only compete with 14 teams and not 15 in their conference. Because the Browns are never, ever going to line up with Deshaun Watson and succeed.
This is correct. And that sentence might have even been before you hit Deshaun Watson, because that team may never succeed.
No, I think the owners are before him. I would agree. I would agree with that. But, I mean, it is just too toxic. It is just a cancerous, hot mess.
Deshaun Watson plays like a guy who has been given $240 million, whatever it was, and it does not depend on how well he plays.
I think there is something to building the culture and the environment, right? Like, I don't know that it's maybe quite as important as coaches want to, lather on about. Maybe it is. I mean, I definitely think coaches know more about football than I do. But I also think sometimes coaches say things to save their job or to do whatever. But I will say this. There are some things that you can hear from players. I remember talking to Brian Washington, right? He's the one who came over with James Hasty, right? Was a St. Joe guy, I think.
I believe so.
And he was a safety, and he came over, and both he and James Hasty signed with the Chiefs as free agents, leaving the Jets in the same year. And we had him in studio, Pete and I, way back in the day, the old, beautiful facility we had there in Independence. And Drake pumping a fist in there. Still exquisite, still beautiful. And he said to me, the Jets will never win as long as they share a stadium with the Giants. So because they are always second-class citizens. And he's like, the Giants park here, we park there. The Giants train here, we train back over on Long Island. The Giants did this, we got this. You walk into the building, it's all blue and red. Now they do now change it to where they make it green for Jets days and blue on Giants days and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, they have not sniffed anything. Even with Bill Parcells there, they got to a conference championship game, but with Vinny Testaverde quarterbacking and having just his career year, and they even then got housed in the AFC championship game. That's the closest they've come to even considering sniffing a Super Bowl. The Browns are never, with Deshaun Watson,
never
going to sniff it. I mean, that's the same kind of thing. And I do think we might be able to extend that with that owner.
With that owner, for sure,
no chance.
A good coach might be able to stumble to 500, might be able to make the playoffs, but you're not going to have a roster that's going to be able to challenge because you're probably also never going to have a quarterback that's going to be able to can win a Super Bowl. You can have plenty of quarterbacks to make the playoffs. Only a few can win a Super Bowl.
By the way, I had this thought. This has nothing to do with Chiefs football, but I'm going to run it by you anyway. You know how everybody loves to talk about like Calipari, how his Memphis Final Four doesn't count, and that the banner needs to come down because Derrick Rose. Are we going to take away all the Dodgers World Series when that owner finally, we get all the up and up on the shell game that he was doing and all this deferred money? Will we strip the Dodgers of their world championships? Will we at least call for it? I would like to be the one to begin it. Every time the Dodgers come, I want signs about the years of the what do they call them? Revoked championships of the Dodgers. If that happens, shouldn't that, if we're going to do that in college, shouldn't we do that in the pros too?
But Major League Baseball doesn't have any rules for the most part. I mean, they got a luxury tax. Isn't that pretty much the only thing you could really get him for is maybe he's avoided the luxury tax? But
I mean, the Astros, everyone wants to say the Astros because of the sign stealing.
Yeah, that was legitimately.
Can't we get that going with the Dodgers too?
But did they cheat? Or did they just
spend a bunch of money? If they were purchased with money the guy doesn't really have, and players have been added on money he's never going to pay them with the over $1 billion in deferred contracts, yes, I would say that they cheated.
That's a good point.
That's a gray area.
Come on, man! I gave you a no-brainer. I gave you a win right there. All you had to do was take it. I laid it out for you.
Well, then you started going towards Ponzi schemes, and all I could start thinking about were the Mets and how they took all that Bobby Bonilla money and put it into the Ponzi scheme and lost it all. So,
yeah, they were tied up with Bernie Madoff.
Yes, So we're like, hey,
they didn't win anything to take away from them.
We owe Bobby Bo $5.8 million. I got this guy over here that's giving me all these great returns. I'm going to invest it with him. I'm just going to pay Bobby off the interest. Oops.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Well, that's why when they started all these deferred deals, and Shohei Ohtani's getting $20 million of the 580s deferred. Like, and I remember going on. I was actually on ESPN that day, and I had passing on. And I was like, listen, this can't be like this. There's just, I'm not sure why this is crap, but the crap detector is going off.
Yes.
Right. Like you don't see radon, but if the detector or what is it? What do you have? You have a smoke detector and a
radon detector.
Radon's kind of sketchy, but there's one.
Yes.
Carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide's real.
I was told the radon thing is basically just a scam to. Every time you buy a house, radon, got to come get a pipe coming up out of the ground and run it through your house. That's $1,000. We need it in industry that comes in and plumbs a little bit and So we came up
Just
with
like
this
that undercoating in Fargo.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
You've got to get that undercoating.
Ah, what
Yeah.
the Christ.
That was a pretty good impression.
I'll do what I can for you. What the Christ.
Yeah. The carbon monoxide. You know, like the thing's going off. The alarm's going off. Well, I don't see it. I know. You can't. But the alarm is telling us. Well, the crap alarm was going off when they signed Shohei Ohtani to that.
Well, in theory, here's the other thing I would assume about it. I mean, unless baseball just completely falls down at the switch, I want to see what the Dodgers look like when Shohei Ohtani is 60 years old and it counts $58 million towards their luxury tax or salary cap or whatever.
Right. And everyone's like, oh, no, they just have so much money because of their TV deal. They always have I'm like, the TV deal's a scam.
It's more of a scam than the rest of it.
Yes, it's like, the TV network is paid for by his insurance things, and they pay the money to the Dodgers, and then, it's like, it's all, we're eventually going to get there. It's going to be like, yeah, it's all crap.
And yet the team is still going to sell for like $12 billion.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, prostitutes and Ponzi schemes. That's our
fired up
ownership
today,
in
Saran.
professional sports.
You are fired up.
Prostitutes and Ponzi schemes. It's what we do in American sports. But what we don't do? Relegation. Because that's terrible.
That would actually be
the
pretty
bad
cool.
teams being sent down. Oh, no, we don't do that.
By the way, that sounds like a
That would be
country
pretty cool.
song. Merlin, prostitutes and Ponzi schemes.
American sports today.
I'm fine with relegation. Me being the anti-soccer guy, I'm great with relegation. I think that would be great punishment for the teams that don't try and all those things. I just hate ties. So I don't want to ever go to a sporting event.
We're not changing that. We're not changing that. We'll just
baseball's going to get there one day. They're going to be like, 12 innings is too long. We'll just call it a tie.
The 8-game win streak right now. If it's like, listen, the Las Vegas Aviators are coming up. They're tearing through the Pacific Coast League, and 4 teams are going down. And you're playing to avoid that. Like what we got, the A's and Rockies are the 2 worst. Somebody else is right there, kind of by the Royals, or maybe somebody else.
Los Angeles Angels.
The Angels.
Yeah.
And the Royals are 4th, right? They're 4th or 5th. I think there are 4 teams worse than the Royals. But they would have a reason to light a fire under their ass. And if you didn't want to be watching Omaha come in here for a big series, you would be out at the park going, let's go, boys. I want to play the Yankees, not the Columbus Clippers.
Yeah.
Let's get our ass in gear and win some games. You're not telling me that wouldn't be fun to go out there and root the Royals on? Have you seen that? They go nuts. I mean, who is it? Tottenham's been teetering. They're one of the historic clubs. They've been teetering on being relegated for years. They are packed to the gills, losing their minds trying to keep their ass up in the highest level. I would be thrilled. I would be fired up to go out there and cheer these guys on to keep their ass out of AAA.
And how packed would it be for right here if the Mavericks were playing to get a bid in the NHL?
Yes.
We'd be all over that.
Yes, absolutely. Relegation, we figured it out. All it took was Ponzi schemes and prostitutes, and we realized what we wanted.
How most accomplishments in American history have been accomplished.
More with Matt Derrick next. He's always brought to you by our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lots.
All right, the Twin Peaks end of the hour answer. Who was the last Chiefs player to have a punt return or kickoff return touchdown in a regular or postseason game?
Punt return or kick return? Do we got to go back to Kadarius Toney?
For a touchdown.
He didn't quite get there, did he?
Got to the 5.
Sky Moore? He had a big return, too. I guess it wasn't a touchdown either.
McCole
Hardman, December 2020. 5 years.
Wow.
I heard that question on the way over, and I was like, is it somebody since Tyreek? And I was like, it had to be McCole.
At Miami, that was a lot of those games in 20. They'd get a big lead and then almost blow it. McCole Hardman had one there. The last punt return touchdown was a few weeks earlier than that. Byron Pringle at Denver in that 43-16 wipeout. So they've had.
I'd forgotten that one.
I looked it up. There are 5 teams. So they're one of 6 teams that do not have a punt return or kick return touchdown since 2021. Eagles, who've done quite well despite that.
So it does not necessarily right out of the gates look like it's the all-time predictor of success.
So Eagles, Colts, Chiefs, 49ers, Raiders, Bucks.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty random.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since obviously the Browns have some.
Yeah.
But it is getting more and more rare to get the kick return touchdown, right?
Yes.
Because kickoffs almost how many since we went to the new kickoff? How many have gone all the way?
Not many.
Was last year the first year of it?
No.
It's a 24. I'll look up and see.
There have not been many
kickoff
returns.
Not at all.
Let me see.
So McCole Hardman was the answer?
McCole Hardman.
McCole Hardman. One of the great Chiefs.
He had his moments.
He did.
He did. He could have, I will stand by, in the crazy 13-second game, the play before the touchdown that won the game, he could have gotten in. He was, if you look at all the angles, plant the right foot and head back inside, that's a touchdown.
But he ended up catching it anyway, right?
No, yeah. I mean, he got to the whatever yard line it was, and then on the next play, Mahomes
on the kick
hit
return,
Kelsey.
you mean?
No, not on the kick return. The play before Mahomes hits Kelsey to beat the Bills in overtime, he hits a crosser to McCole Hardman. Everyone's gone on that side of the field, and he gets it all the way to about the 10-yard line, I think. But if you look at the replay from behind him, all he has to do is plant his right foot and go inside, and there's easy touchdown. He could have had 2 walk-off.
Oh, you're talking about the
touchdowns.
year before.
Yeah, 2021.
Okay. Oh,
that crazy 13-second game, but still has one of the seminal moments in Chiefs history.
It's a good pick.
Wasn't bad.
Not a great pick. I mean, we all know, well, it could have had DK Metcalf. Yeah, but McCole Hardman had some big moments and big games for this organization. So the Mansour Delane, how good is he? What do you think now?
I think he's going to be pretty good. I mean, you look at what this guy did in college, and you're starting to see it here. I mean, we didn't really get a glimpse of any of it, when he was in that yellow non-contact jersey, because he was obviously being held back by the trainers and the coaches and probably himself a little bit. There were times that I was like, I mean, I get that he's hurt, and it's like, but his legs aren't hurt, so it's like, why isn't he running? Okay, well, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, because now that he can go out and do things, I mean, he's not holding back. I mean, that play where he read the wide receiver screen and came down, if he doesn't get pushed in the back, he might make the tackle. But at least he took the right angle to get the guy go inside and drove into the Chris Rowan Wallace. So he's doing the right things. I think he seems like he plays fearless. He's quick. He's fast. I mean, he ticks all the boxes. And on top of that, I mean, this guy seems smart too. I mean, he seems like a pretty high football IQ guy. And
yeah, he realized right after being drafted that the Chiefs don't give second contracts. It's a guy that's thinking down the road, not the corners. They don't. He was ahead of the game.
Just playing for that second contract.
That's right. He's already figuring out where he'll go after Kansas City.
Yeah.
He's renting, as I understand. He's like, I'm only 4 in the door, man. I'm not buying.
No, you can't buy here. You got to rent.
Yeah, he's renting. So, yeah. No, I agree. That's pretty encouraging. How much do you think it's going to look better once it is all the ones. Like, how much does Chris Jones matter, and how much does Pat matter, and all that? When we put all that out there, how much does he? I mean, to me, it's a clear indicator that they are thin.
They're thin at a lot of places.
At a lot of places, yes.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you have to be prepared that this team is going to have to play thin at times because, I mean, Nick and I discussed this yesterday on the 41 is the Mike podcast. It's like, okay, is Felix Anudike-Uzomah the third best edge player on this team? I mean,
with two being, one is Karlaftis, obviously, two being Gelati.
And I mean, only because R. Mason Thomas, I think, is a much better pass rusher, but R. Mason Thomas is also going to get destroyed in the run game.
I think R. Mason Thomas is better. I mean, I think you'd live with him, and I think if you just threw him out there and you had to, I think you'd hasten his development as a run defender. But yeah, I mean, I love R. Mason Thomas's burst, and I think he's stronger than we thought he probably would be. I mean, I think part of his burst is he seems to have a good recognition for when the tackle sets soft, like when the tackle's like, okay, this is speed rush, and he really gets into the body and really gets them, on roller skates. And so I really like all that. But he, when you're pick 40, you can't just be a situational pass rusher. He's got to grow into being an every down defensive end so that when they throw on 1st and 10, you've got him out on the field. Otherwise, he's just not going to get enough snaps to really affect change the way you need him to unless everybody else is great. So I do hope he grows into that kind of player.
Right.
And I'd rather get the guy who can rush the passer and try to make him a run stopper than get a run stopper and try to make him a pass rusher.
And I like R. Mason Thomas for that long term because I also think he gets it. I mean, when we've talked to him, he has said, strength is my problem. That's what I have to get stronger. And you're not going to get the strength to build yourself into a run defender during a season. I mean, that's a 2027 project. But hey, long term, yeah, great. I mean, if he can get stronger next offseason and now becomes a better run defender, sign me up.
Yeah, but so how much better when all the ones are out there does it look?
I mean, I think it'll be better, no doubt. I mean, the only question I've got about them really is going to be what are they going to do at corner? Because, I mean, if L'Jarius Sneed is legitimately what they're considering as one of their starters at the outside, I love L'Jarius. And, I mean, let's face it, when he's been really good, but he hasn't been the last 2 years. He's just been hurt. Maybe being back in Spags' defense and where he's comfortable and they know how to use him will help. I just still, this most latest 8 days of load management, I don't see how this guy's going to play 17 games. So it's like, why are you even considering the starter? I mean, wouldn't you be better off just planning on him being a part-time player? And if that's the case, okay, well, it's going to be Mansour Delane. And I have no problem with Noah Williams being one of those guys. He looks like that. So I don't really get this, and maybe it's for L'Jarius. I don't know, but
what do you think they're going to line up against the Broncos? They go to nickel, and who's out there?
I mean, I when they're in nickel, I mean, I think it'll be obviously Chris Rowland-Wallace will be the guy that comes in and plays the slot. One assumes because they spent all of training camp. I mean, I've been told that L'Jarius is an option at the slot, but we haven't seen that. I mean, they haven't practiced that. So I don't know if that's really an option. Whenever L'Jarius has been out there and healthy-ish, I'll say that because he was out there for a 10-10-10 the other day, and he was the starter opposite Delane. That just still makes no sense to me. If the starters and you're in nickel against the Broncos, and it's Delane, Sneed, and Chris Rowland-Wallace, I mean, my question is going to be, I just don't know if that's the right thing with Sneed.
It does speak to how little confidence they have in Christian Fulton.
It does, and the fact that he was out there late in the second half also speaks volumes about how they feel about Christian Fulton.
Where are you on Jaden Kennedy?
I think he's fine. I mean, and, I think you're going to get out of him exactly what they hoped they would get this year, which is a guy that can be a depth piece in the secondary, backup as I mean, in their dream scenario, I'm sure they would love for him to be a starter at nickel, but I think that as being a backup nickel is fine and a four-phase special teams player. And he's got flashes. I mean, I think he could go out there. He could play nickel for you right now, and you wouldn't be scared. But are other guys better because they've seen more and have more experience? Probably. Again, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if he got more comfortable. Maybe he did replace Chris Rowland-Wallace at some point this season, but I'm comfortable with him.
Well, my vibe from Dave Emmett Merritt last week was that he really would rather have Chris Rowland Wallace at safety, but they're leaving him there because they don't like what they're seeing at corner. I mean, I think if Christian Fulton were looking like he did, I thought he looked pretty good coming down the stretch last year. I think he looks terrible now. I mean, he wasn't within 10 yards of Cyrus Allen, okay? And we're all excited about Cyrus Allen's upside. He's still a fifth-round rookie. I mean, figure something out. I mean, I don't know that Christian Fulton's going to make the team. Do you?
I don't know if he is either. And if he doesn't, then, I mean, that's a bad miss and some valuable cap space that they can't afford to miss out on. I mean,
well, they'll gain $5 million by cutting him.
They'll gain it, but they're also losing like 8, I think it is.
Well, they're losing 13 if he plays like he does right now.
Well, I mean, getting the 5 back is not. I mean, it's not going to help him that much. I mean, it'll help him a little bit. I mean, and obviously, we would have to maybe restructure a couple of contracts to get to the season. But I mean, he should be good enough to justify that $5 million.
Are they going to the Super Bowl this year? Yes or no? You got to put everything you got on it. Yes or no?
I mean, if those were my only choices,
those are your only choices.
I would say no.
Okay, then why are you going to worry about what you're doing this year? You need to start cleaning things up and get ready to make the push next year. We want this year to be as good, but I am looking at this year, and I think they may come out of the gates like, 6-3, 7-2, and then the attrition of the season starts to add up, and then that schedule, which has until it's that 6-game stretch before they hit like the Raiders at the end. So I think it's like 11 to 16.
Yeah,
are the weeks or 10 to 16?
Oh, it's a gauntlet.
And this this part right here, where it goes at Bills, at Rams, at Bengals, Patriots, 49ers, at Chargers. That schedule, unless we know the 49ers should all be radiation poisoned or whatever's going on out there with their practice facility. The Rams have got some age and some spots. The Bengals usually get hurt. The Chargers usually get hurt. Maybe it'll all smile on them. But you're running Khalil Benson and Jalen Moore out there as your tackles because Josh Simmons.
That would be trouble. Yeah.
And Christian Fulton's playing corner for you. No.
Well,
you're not getting there.
Incorrect.
And you might even be, linebackers. They're only going to have probably 5 linebackers on this team, which means you're like maybe just
I'll take that bet. They'll find a way they'll find 6.
I mean, Nick Bolton out there with, bless their hearts, Jeff Bossa and Cooper McDonald.
Well, L'Jarius Sneed's not playing special teams.
No.
I mean, Kenneth Walker's not playing special teams.
No.
Xavier Worthy's not playing special teams. Travis Kelce's not playing special teams.
Mercado and
Rashee Rice with that knee, he's not playing special teams.
No, but Jalen Royals and they'll probably still find a place for Cyrus Allen out there and just make.
I know, but they always have wide receivers. I'm like, they got a number of guys that are like Jake Brenningstool. If he makes the squad, I mean, I don't know. I think you'll be like, why you got so many linebackers? They don't play that many because they're all the special teamers.
I mean, they've got 5 linebackers. 3 of them will be special teamers for sure. But there's not a 6th one. Well, he did the other night. And he did. He's done during training camp. So
okay, we talked about it's Cyrus Allen, but he's a 5th-round pick.
McDuffie played
6th overall pick coming off a shoulder injury.
I just put 3 draft picks.
What did McDuffie played like 50 snaps or something like that on special teams his rookie year? I mean,
let's have the guy playing his first game off an injury be a gunner on teams in the.
Got to play through it. Got to play through it, Curtis. Got to play through pain.
I see no potential issues.
Got to challenge it.
I like that a lot better when you're a deeper roster.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they might need Valor might need to be the.
Well, and that's the whole point with like the thing with Cyrus Allen too. I mean, it's like what
is it? Judgment's the better part of Valor.
Discretion's the better part.
There you go. That's that. There you go. Right there. That.
I get
more of that.
Mm-hmm. I get all the other NFL players who have said, "Hey, you're a 5th-round rookie. Of course you're playing special teams. This is the way it is. Just deal with it." But I'd be like, no, because you know what? I mean, you're one step away now from, bless his heart, Andrew Armstrong having to be a, key player for you. And that's exactly where you were last year. I mean, right now, Jalen Royals looks like a decent 5th receiver.
I liked what I saw.
And exactly. I mean, that's not a knock.
He
that's
does
like,
one
man,
thing that seemingly nobody else kind of does that way.
I'm not hating on
Guy
Jalen
finally showed
Royals.
something in here.
It's
You
just,
By the way, I saw someone posted over the weekend that Royals. So what do Jalen Royals and these Royals have in common? Royals playing well in August.
Oh,
Jalen and
I like that.
In games that don't matter.
More with Matt Derrick. He's brought to you by our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com.
The program with Soren Petro.
I don't got a lot of time to scour the defensive metrics, especially when I'm trying to catch up with Ted Lasso.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we got summer heat. Have you been feeling drained, worn out? Even with the AC, it might not be the heat. Did you know that 1 in 4 men from 35 to 50 have low testosterone? Low energy levels. How about sex drive? A lack of it. Bad mood all the time? If somebody asking you why you always a grump, low T drains your energy and your motivation. So you don't have energy for the things that you really like to do. And maybe, because it kind of happens gradually over time, you don't even recognize it. Get the answers you need this summer for free. At Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and get a consultation from licensed providers who specialize in testosterone replacement therapy. You can explore a wide range of peptides and even get a jump on that summer body. That's right, the GLP-1s, medical weight loss protocols. That's right, the Low T Center can help you with that as well. Low T Center has been the #1 name in TRT since 2009 for a reason. Don't spend another day wondering why you don't feel like yourself. Get the answers you need at the Low T Center. Visit their website, fixmylowt.com, and schedule your free testosterone test today. Worn out, not able to work out like you used to, don't have any motivation? Listen, it may not just be the heat, it may be your low testosterone. So visit fixmylowt.com and schedule your free testosterone test today. That's fixmylowt.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event.
Get up to 0% on select 2026 Subaru models for up to 72 months.
And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
VIN number 4S4SLD L61T3038472. Based on 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Hey, it's Dick Ray. When your drain stops, your whole day stops. Then, no matter how many plumbers you called today, no one could come out and fix your drain problem. Well, Dick Ray is here to save your day. One single call is all it takes, and Dick Ray will be there with same-day service. And the best part, we'll clear any drain for only $59. Yup, you heard right. Same-day service.
Used to be a handshake and a love for the game. Now it's front page scandals whispering their dirty name. They sold their hometown soul for a high-rise view, leaving honest fans like me and you. Prostitutes and Ponzi schemes, American sports today.
What did you do? Just plug that into AI?
That was the Drake.
Nice!
Oh my goodness.
And you people are all worried about this AI thing? Sure. 500 gallons of water were just sprayed wherever, and we warmed the ozone by like 3 degrees. But damn, that was funny and right on time.
That sounded legit.
That will never come attack us. That is there to make us laugh.
Nope.
Don't worry about Schwarzenegger and the Terminator.
Might be the last thing we hear, though, when the AI bots are shooting us with lasers. But
that was outstanding.
Yes.
You have made Serin's day. It's all turning around.
I was coming back from the restroom, and Kyle goes, "What do you hear this bumper tune? This is going to be really good." I'm like, I can't wait.
Rarely do you call your shot and it hits. Yeah, that's like
it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Babe Ruth there, right there.
Since we won't talk to you before the Chiefs wrap up the preseason with the Seahawks.
Some version of the Seattle Seahawks.
We're not going to see Pat, are we?
No, I mean, well, I got so annoyed today when Andy was asked about Patrick playing in week 1 and started dancing around the question, be like, oh well, to say what the trainers have to say, and we'll see how he feels. The dude was saying he wanted to play in the game Saturday. He's ready. I mean, I'm not playing this game with anybody. He's playing in week 1.
But he will play the game with you.
But Andy will play the game with us, and I'm like, I mean, after I just wanted to do one of the Andy Reid things. I just go with my hand and just say, we're not doing this today, Coach. But I didn't, because I would not have been professional.
Okay. So do you feel better or worse about the Chiefs after Saturday night?
Probably, honestly, oddly enough, a little bit better. Because I feel like that, you look at the first half of both of these games, I mean, they've played well enough. They haven't had a bunch of their starters. And
I didn't say that that saying worse means you don't think they're going to go to the playoffs. I think, do you just feel better or worse? I feel worse.
I feel a little bit better.
Really?
Okay. A little bit. Okay. Not a ton, but a little bit. Mostly because I am scared to death of this defense.
Let's keep in mind you were the guy that was never worried last year.
Was I never worried?
I mean, I think at like 6-10.
I mean, I do always think that Mahomes is going to pull himself out. But
all right, Len Cicada holds a significant spot in MLB history. What is it? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
How about when you buy with my friends at Unlimited RV? Josh and his great staff are absolutely fantastic to work with. 2 locations. They're in Independence, 4400 North Cobbler, 12 Hauser Road. Down by the lake. If you're down in the Ozarks, you need an RV to set up shop and enjoy the lake. Get to Kansas City's best. The number 1 RV dealership in Kansas City is Unlimited RV. They're the best when it comes to the purchasing process. They're the best when it comes to servicing your RV, as they have master certified technicians to help you out with everything. In fact, they have the only mobile service in Kansas City that is certified to do warranty work through the manufacturer. So if you've got a warranty issue, they come to you, making it super easy. Kansas City's number 1 RV dealer, and again, nominated as a top 50 RV dealer in the entire country for the 4th year in a row. Get over there right now. You can start by going to unlimitedrv.com. That's unlimitedrv.com. He's not napping today. Our buddy Chuck Powell, KJR in Seattle, leads us off on the drill. Chuck, how are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm napping every day. Let me correct you on that.
But you're not napping right now.
I was, but I am alive and awake and alert for you, my friend.
I appreciate that. Kate Anderson, what do the Mariners have? The numbers are amazing down in the minor leagues. They're bringing them straight out of double A to the big leagues. What do they have in Kate Anderson?
I think someone special. I mean, for different reasons. This is not Paul Skeens, the number 1 prospect, or Steven Strasburg, the number 1 prospect. This isn't somebody that is going to come up to the league throwing 1,000 miles per hour. But he throws 94, 95 in that range. But it's the repeatable delivery that he has. They say in golf, the goal is to get a repeatable swing, and it's maddening to try to perfect that. It's what Kate Anderson has done with pitching, even though he did not look like that on Saturday. I think maybe the hype of the crowd and 45,000 people at your first major league game with your family in town, he was a little loose, which is something he's not been before. Always has brilliant command and control. That really wasn't on display on Saturday. He was missing his spots on Saturday, especially his fastball, and yet he still threw 5 shutout innings before the Cubs started to get to him in the 6th. So he's not, like I said, he's not your typical number 1 overall pitching prospect in the sport, but there's rarely been a prospect like him in terms of how well he is, how good he is as a pitcher right out of the chute at the major league level. So I think they're trusting. I'm trusting that they got the real deal in Kate Anderson.
Is it enough to get them over the hump? They're 3 games back in the wild card and chasing, 4 teams they got to get in front of? Is that enough to get them to where they want to go?
It won't be because of him, but certainly he could help. I called him Mr. Anderson on Friday from Matrix. Neo is here, the chosen one to save the team and save the season. That was tongue-in-cheek. I think the team's going to need to score runs. That's how they're going to get back over the top, and maybe they've got a hot streak in them, including Cal Raleigh finally getting going at some point this year, which at this stage, almost 5 months into the season, I think maybe that's not going to happen. But this team could certainly put together a run. They've got the talent to do it, and they don't have that big of a deficit despite how poorly they've played. And Anderson can certainly be a contributing piece to that, especially now that we've got some injury concerns to Brian Wu and Bryce Miller in the starting rotation. A healthy Kate Anderson might be arriving just in time for this team.
And just in time for my team to run your team
maybe
down, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're going to... I appreciate your spirit, is what I do.
Chuck's in first. I'm in third, but I moved up 9.5 points last week alone. So,
yeah, I know. I see that. You made some aggressive moves at the deadline. That's good
right.
stuff.
That's right. I don't screw around. Right. I'm in it to win it. Right. We'll see. I may regret it moving Jack Caglione in a deal to make a run with this short amount of time. We'll see what happens. All right. The Seahawks lock up another young star. 4 for 132 on cornerback Devin Witherspoon. Listen, everybody's getting paid there with the Seahawks. Do you like the deal?
I do. I mean, I think that they've identified core members of the team, and they're going to keep them. Now, they have tried this before, and it didn't keep the team at a championship level. They identified 8 players off of the Legion of Boom days, and they didn't remain at championship level. But I don't think it's the same coach. I don't think it's the same nucleus. And so I think they're going to remain a contender, and I don't think you just let guys like this walk out the door. So to get JSN and to get Devin Witherspoon in the same draft the same year, it really was sort of what catapulted this team toward being a champion. And I think JSN is the type of guy, non-quarterback, that you can build an offense around. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Mike McDonald made it very clear how much he thinks of Devin Witherspoon. On the very first episode of Hard Knocks, they show his family, his young son, playing in his office, and he's got a Devin Witherspoon jersey on. So that's teacher's pet. Of all the guys he's got, Mike McDonald's had a hard time hiding that's basically his favorite player on the team. So not surprised that they did it, and I don't know how many guys you can do that for. As you know, once you're a champion, everybody wants to get paid. But Witherspoon, JSN, Byron Murphy next year, those are going to be 3 guys they're going to max out on to keep.
All right, how about some of the other moves they've made? Going out and trying to bolster the secondary, getting Terrion Arnold, Trayvon Diggs. What's the reaction to those moves?
Well, it's strange. It sort of speaks to desperation. To me, I had to ask a couple of different people that are following the beat every single day here in Seattle. I said, are they worried about their secondary? Because I didn't think there was anything to worry about. I get adding depth, but why would you get somebody with
kidnapping charges
against them? What's that?
I said, yeah, with kidnapping charges. I mean,
yeah, life in prison charges against them, and then another guy that who obviously made a nice splash in the National Football League, but I mean, there was a reason he was a free agent in late August. Nobody thinks he's any good anymore, and yet you go get Diggs and you go get Arnold to try to help a secondary this year and beyond in Arnold's case. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like the type of moves that they've made to get here back to championship level. But on the other hand, my history with John Schneider, he's always trying to seek ways of making the team better. It doesn't seem to me like the juice here is worth the squeeze. I think that there's more risk than the reward than it comes with these 2 guys. But John Schneider's just always been somebody that is never going to he's never going to stop trying to find a good player for cheap. And I guess we'll have to accept that as reasons why Diggs and Arnold have been pursued.
Jadarian Price, the guy to target for fantasy leagues at running back, or is he? You need to go ahead and make sure you handcuff him if they think Zach Charbonnet is going to come riding in later in the season?
Well, I think he's going to be the starter. I can't imagine it's George Halani. Even if George Halani gets the start on opening day, just as a tip of the cap to the veteran, I still think by opening day, Price will have more touches than him. And it certainly gives Price an opportunity, because Charbonnet's probably not going to come back until late October, to establish himself as the number 1 guy. But anything's risky, because, I mean, Price hasn't even proven at college he can be the number 1 guy. And he's already been hurt so far in training camp and hasn't even played a preseason snap yet, and it doesn't look like he will. So I think there's a lot of risk involved. I mean, I think he will end up being the clear-cut number 1 guy, and with the chance of winning that job before Charbonnet can get back to the field. But I still wouldn't invest a high draft pick in it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see. What they end up doing. We know they're going to want to run the ball, but it is a little bit of a gamble that if you're going to do it. Real quick, where do we sit right now on Washington and the Washington fans liking being a part of the Big Ten and being able to compete at a high level in the Big Ten?
Well, it still feels strange to not be in the Pac-12, but you got to give up that ghost. So if you're going to land somewhere, I think the fan base is happy that it landed in the Big Ten. The Big Ten came calling. It felt like a no-brainer at the time, just the direction that everything was headed. So in a comfortable position in the Big Ten, and finally this season feeling like, okay, we're ready to compete in the 3rd year of Jed Fish. as head coach. Maybe not for the title, but maybe there's an outside shot at making it into the college football playoff this upcoming season. So everybody wants the Pac-12 back, wishes it was back intact and that we weren't in a major conference halfway across the country. But if you were going to adapt to the way college football was moving 3 years ago, then yeah, feel pretty beneficial that you landed in the Big Ten and part of what looks to be right now arguably the strongest conference in all of college sports.
Yeah, definitely better to be a part of the Big Ten than be Cal and Stanford trucking it across the country to play in the ACC. I definitely get that. Is the feeling though that that the Big Ten is going to be where they're going to be, or is the feeling that when we get to like 2030, 31, we're going to get just a football only, and then they'll go back to regionality maybe for all the other sports?
Here's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think that what's going to happen is that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to expand a little bit further. They're both going to have about 20 teams in it, 10 divisions, two divisions of 10 teams each, and they're going to call the Big Ten West Division the Pac-10. That's what I think is going to end up happening. They're going to be right back to where they were before it all began, but at least they're part of one of those two big giant conferences. And yeah, I would assume that eventually, logic will prevail and all other sports will probably compete on a regional basis rather than just be a part of a conference and you have to go face Maryland in your volleyball game on a Wednesday night. So I would hope that logic prevails on that other end. But in terms of just football and basketball, it's good to be a part of one of the two big dogs right now. And I think that they feel really good about being Big Ten members.
All right, Chuck Powell in Seattle, Washington. Great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a fantastic week, my friend.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. Len Sakata holds a significant spot in MLB history. What is it?
I know I've heard this name.
Mm-hmm.
Last pitcher to hit the American League before the DH? Len Sakata.
Played shortstop in the American League East, early 80s.
I don't know.
Cal Ripken Jr.'s...
Well, last guy to play short before
Yes.
Cal Ripken started his streak.
His consecutive game streak began on May 30th, 1982. The first dozen or so games he played in that streak were at third base. He then was moved to shortstop. The person who started at shortstop before he made the switch was Len Sakata. He was the last person to start at shortstop for the Orioles for about 12 or 13 years.
Wow.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. Good to know. 913-810-810, the phone number, 913-810-810. Just give away some La Feta. That's always good to know. LaFetaDeli.com, La Feta Italian Delicatessen. The best. You can go get you some great sandwiches. They cater as well. Their charcuterie boards are a great option. Remember, 24 to 48 hours notice you're going to need when catering, so just give them a little heads up because every ingredient comes in fresh that day. So they need to know what they're going to be making on top of the usual lunch and dinners. It is La Feta Italian Delicatessen, locally owned and operated. Adam and staff are great. Coming very soon to Prairie Village. Rejoice, PV. You're getting a La Feta, and that's great news for you.
It is.
Great news.
Fantastic news.
I will tell you that. Is it great news that Jalen Royals looked like he might actually be a player?
I wouldn't say it's great news, but I think it could be great news. I think it's moving that direction. He showed the ability to do something they really don't have a guy who can do. Get open. Once you catch the ball, get yards after catch. They have guys who do various other things, but if he can consistently do what he did on Saturday night, that adds another element to their offense. And anything you add to the passing, well, they can do this too? All right. Well, that makes, one, it's one more option for Patrick Mahomes, and two, it's harder to cover everyone. It makes every other route tree that's run better because you've got just a little bit less attention to it. So I'd say it was very good. It was good and with a chance to be very good.
Good to very good, yeah.
Yes.
I think that's one of the things we need to keep in mind as fans is that, yes, we're all excited about this year's draft class, and they're all going to be great because we haven't seen anything from them yet. They haven't failed in front of our eyes, so we just assume, okay, this is going to work.
Yeah.
Right? And, sometimes it doesn't, and that's disappointing. But they're not done just because they didn't excel in the first year.
Right.
Now, I do think the third year you're kind of starting to get on to a point where all right, now or never, kid. Like, I don't think there's a lot of breakout candidates at 4, but I will mention it's one of the reasons why I'm holding out a little bit of hope for FAU. Like, when you look at the career arc of Trey Hendrickson, and I'm not saying that he's going to be Trey Hendrickson, I'm just saying that Trey Hendrickson went into his walk year with the New Orleans Saints, having not had a big year. In fact, I want to quote this directly. He had his first 3 years with the Saints. He had 2, 0, and 4.5 sacks. And then he broke out with 13.5.
Yeah.
He played in 12, 5, and 13 games, then played in 15 for the Saints. By the way, with the Bengals, he played in 16, 15, 17, 17, and then 7 last year, and now a member of the Ravens. Sack totals for his career, 2, 0, 4.5. Then he breaks out with the 13.5, signs a pretty good deal with the Bengals. 14, 8, 17.5, 17.5. Last year he had 4 in 7 games.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he gives the Ravens now at age 31. He'll be 32 in December. But that's the hope of an FAU. And I think if this team is going to have success, by the way, we open up the phone lines if you want to chime in. Chiefs, Royals, Sporting, K-State, Missouri, KU, always a topic here in the program, 913-810-810. But yes, we're Mansour Lane needs to play, and I think with everything they gave up, he needs to play well now, not in a couple of years. Peter Woods will have a little bit of patience for. R. Mason Thomas can have patience. Jaden Candidate, Emmett Johnson, Cyrus Allen, Garrett Nussmeier. But if Josh Simmons plays all the games and takes a step forward, which I come back to Sam McDowell had a great stat that no one had won a Super Bowl with a rookie left tackle.
Right.
And it doesn't mean, and there were some good names on there. It just meant that, it didn't necessarily mean that they weren't good enough for you to win with, but it might have been. That might have been the case, but they grew into being tackles that were good enough. And if Josh Simmons not only plays all the games but takes a step forward, the back injury scares the hell out of me. If Omar Norman-Lott ever is something.
Ever returns to the field.
Ashton Gelati is ever healthy. Man, they are.
Which
question the health. But
I don't know if that'll happen this year.
Noel Williams taking a step forward. We mentioned Jalen Royals. Jeffrey Bassa is in the mix. Last year's draft was considered, had a lot of people calling and bitching about, does Brett Veach know what he's doing? There is the potential, if those guys will get on the field, for that draft class to do a lot more for this team. Kingsley Suamataia, go back to the 24. 24 didn't do much for the team. 25 was an effective starting guard, right? And still, Jaden Hicks had a big first game. Maybe he's going to actually end up playing. Maybe Hunter Norzad ends up stepping in at right guard and playing well. He's graded well by PFF when he has played before. By the way, Kamal Haddon is playing for the Packers.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Where did I see somebody else had a big? Oh, Carson Steele had a nice touchdown over the weekend. I'm like, what?
Where's he now? I don't even know where he is.
I don't even know. I was like, he's still getting a check.
Yeah. But, you can still get some. FAU going all the way back to 23, it would be a Trey Hendrickson-like emergence. He has 3 sacks in his career. But, so there's still room to get production from some of the draft classes, get more production from some of the draft classes beyond just the 26 draft class.
The notable thing I do when in adding to FAU is not just the fact that, as I said in the first hour, the pedigree was a first-round pick, but at the beginning of camp, before we even saw him in any games, Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo both talked effusively about the get-off. He looks explosive. The get-off is a lot better. We're like, oh, okay, well, we've heard things like that before. And the first time you saw him in a game, oh, okay, there it is, a couple times. And then Saturday night, oh, there it is. So what they've been saying he's been doing well. The one thing he wasn't doing at all his first 3 years, he started doing it in camp. Now he's done it in a couple of preseason games. You can start to connect the dots and go, well, he's not going to be a double-digit sack guy, but if he can do something, it's just one more guy to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes everyone else better.
He may not ever be Trey Hendrickson, but if he can at least be part of a rotation, if he can he be Mike Dana?
Yeah.
I mean, will that make the pick a success? No, but it'll be an improvement on this football team that they've cut the money that was being taken up by Mike Dana, and they're still getting the production that they got from Mike Dana.
For sure.
They do need somebody to step up at that defensive end spot, though. 913-3-810-810. Let's go to the phones. Tracy, you're in the program. What's going on, Tracy?
Hey, I was just wanting to ask a couple quick questions. So is R. Mason Thomas the best rookie that we drafted this year, including the #1 draft pick? And the second question is it important for Mahomes to get some snaps this Friday night? We got a tough game facing Denver. So what do you think about that?
I'm sorry, I cut you off there. What did you say at the end?
No, I was just going to say I will listen off the air.
Okay, perfect, Tracy. Thank you. I think R. Mason Thomas has got people pretty excited. I think Mansour Lane should probably prove to be the best. And I think you saw a lot of the skills from him in that game, and he needs to be good. They gave up so much. He has to be good, and he has to be good right now.
Yeah.
And I think he'll probably be the best. If R. Mason Thomas can develop into a 4-down linebacker, that he can, or a edge, and he can stand up against the run and at least become solid, could he be D Ford, who once he got the rhythm of it was a 10-sack guy? Yeah, I mean, I think looking at him and projecting a D Ford, kind of an undersized guy that is probably always going to struggle with the run a little bit. But maybe that's putting a limit on him. I mean, he seems to know exactly what he needs to do and seems to be willing to go work at it, talking about getting stronger. that I wouldn't be shocked that playing on the edge, if he can become a 10-sack guy, he's certainly going to become much more of a darling, because I think even though Chris Jones made 10 sacks look like it was, made 15 and a half sacks look like it was, something you could do regularly from the inside, that's not the norm.
No.
And so I think Peter Woods could be a good football player, but he's not going to flash. R. Mason Thomas could be pretty good, but get more flashy plays. So I think they've got a chance for all three of those guys to be good. And frankly, if they're going to play at a Super Bowl level, they really need all three of those guys to be good.
Yes. Yep.
Because they're cheap for 4 years, and they're high picks. They're 6, 29, and 40. And those guys need to be contributors for your team.
And 2 weeks ago, you would have thought, okay, that fact existed then. The chances of that happening were X. Today, after 2 preseason games, they're X plus something. I mean, we've seen enough to say, okay, that whatever we thought the odds were of all that happening was 2 weeks ago. It's a little bit better today because we've seen some stuff in games that make you think a little better, but of that group.
Yeah.
At least Delane and Thomas particularly.
Yeah, I think they're going to be contributors.
Yeah.
Will they contribute enough? Right? That's the real question, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's hand in hand with another question of how much will they be part of the equation of will they contribute enough is how much will they be asked to contribute. If they're asked a lot, they might odds are much higher that they'll fall short. If they're not asked to do very much, odds are better that they will. I think there's two questions there that have to be answered. Unfortunately, when you're a product of a draft that was defense heavy because you have so many spots to fill, there may not be a lot of other filling. They may have to do a whole bunch. If they didn't have to contribute much for them to be a really good defense, they probably wouldn't have spent that many picks,
right,
that kind of capital on them. So they're going to have to do a lot. It's going to be an amazing surprise for Steve Spagnuolo if he doesn't need much out of this rookie class. The expectations are they're going to need to do a lot.
That's one of the things I do like is like the boats are burnt this year. R. Mason Thomas is going to have to play.
Mm-hmm. He's learning.
Especially with Ashton Gelati, based on what we've read about the injury that they have said he has, he's not going to be ready for week 1.
No, I'm not going to be ready for week 10.
I think we're looking at 6 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
From right now. So, if that's the case, Felix Anudike-Uzomah and R. Mason Thomas are your two guys that are going to have to play that spot. And, that is scary.
Yes.
I mean, they're basically, Felix is not a rookie. He's been around all the meetings and everything that's going on, and he's played some football, but, he's going to be counted on to play a lot. A lot.
Yep.
Because I think that's one of the things they're keeping real quiet when it comes to Ashton Gelati. Now, maybe he's going to run out there on Saturday. We're going to hear that he's back, and we're going to be like, okay, so explain to you how this injury wasn't, because it's like a 4 to 6, 6 to 12 type of thing, depending upon. He used the term ruptured plantar fascia.
I will literally fall off my couch if he's there on Friday.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play Friday.
It'll hurt, but I'll do it.
But
I don't think he's going to play for a while.
So we're concerned at tackle.
Yes.
Both now with Josh Simmons being hurt. Both.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, well, it's not just you got two guys at right tackle who don't seem to be particularly ready to go for the big show, and you've got a guy on the left side who's has the goods but is banged up.
We're concerned at tackle. We're concerned at edge.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you're also concerned a little bit at right guard. Trey Smith's being worked back in, but he's been hurt a little bit. Kingsley Suamata'ia's nice reclamation project based on where he was after the Bengal game 2 years ago, but that's not Joe Tooney out there. It's still. You would have thought that the best places you had on the line were left tackle, center, and right guard, and two of those three have been battling injuries so far in camp. That leaves Creed, I mean, if you go into this year and there's one of your 5 guys that you know exactly what you can get out of him, yikes.
I mean, I just if they have health, I think they're going to be pretty good. But I mean, even Travis Kelce's a year older. Noah Gray had less than 200 yards receiving last year. Wiley's never done anything.
Yeah.
Brenning Stool looks like a wide receiver. Like, he does not look like he's pushing pester. No, I don't think he's blocking anybody. Rashee Rice is not healthy. I mean, are we thinking wishbone? Get you a good fullback? Run you some wishbone?
I like it.
Xavier Worthy can't stay healthy.
No.
The 5th-round wide receiver's the apple of everyone's eye.
Yeah, and they do seem to be giving him a lot of those, the McCole Hardman play package more.
They did go back and get L'Jarius Sneed, who doesn't practice, as part of the equation at corner, because they look at their room, they're like, yeah, this guy can help us.
Mm-hmm.
And they're breaking in 2 new safeties. Shamari Connors played some.
And he didn't practice today because he was banged up.
So are we at a point that we're all kidding ourselves in this town? If, are we at the wait a minute, we've got too many ifs. If Josh Simmons is healthy, if Khalil Benson can get it at right tackle, if Trey Smith is healthy, if Rashee Rice's knee gets healthy, if Xavier Worthy can stay healthy, if Christian Fulton either finds it, or if L'Jarius Sneed can stay healthy, if 2 safeties can play at a high level, if Jeffrey Boss is ready to step in and play a real linebacker spot when they wouldn't play him at all last year. There's a lot of ifs we're connecting on this team.
I've said this a couple times about last year. You know, we sat there all year waiting for that, you know, the previous year's Chiefs to walk through the door, and we got.
Oh, by the way, we haven't even mentioned if Patrick Mahomes is healthy.
Yeah, that's fairly.
We feel good,
significant. Yeah, we kept waiting for that team to walk through the door last year, and then you got to the end of the season and looked back and went, yeah, they were never coming to that door. What were we thinking? I could see a situation like that happening this year as well. I mean, we've kind of pinpointed it, and partly the reason why we've been able to pinpoint it is because we just experienced it a year ago. But yeah, if we're sitting here in week 8 or week 10 and they're 4-6 and this has gone wrong and that's gone wrong and they've got 5 guys still hurt, you can look back and go, why did we think this was going to work?
Yeah.
Because we just did it. And that would not be to have back-to-back years where you've gone, why did we think we were going to be good? They were going to be good. Is it a trend?
I mean, I think the one thing that I do think is I feel pretty good about watching him in practice. Patrick Mahomes is healthy.
Yeah.
He's going to make this look real different. Okay. I think he's going to scramble more than we probably think. We might be a little bit nervous when he does it, at least at first. But especially if those tackles are down, they're going to have to get some things going. I mean, that's where, to me, bootlegs and from under center, and they're definitely going to have to run the ball effectively. And maybe it all looks a lot better with Kenneth Walker going for 14 and safeties walking up. All of a sudden, big plays are available. Chris Jones is Chris Jones. But and maybe this is exactly where they need to be. You need to be nervous. They need to be wondering because they bring it all. And I think it's clear that I think because they were worn out from all the 3 previous years going all the way to the Super Bowl, that they were not bringing everything the way they were. I think, number one, they had eroded from the 2 championships to the runner-up season. They had eroded after those. They really, let's be honest, I mean, 22 was the highlight. 23, they didn't play that well in season, but they got it together late and then made a run, fueled by Pat, and a defense that played lights out. 24, they kept winning. I'll have to go back and look at the strength of schedule, how that ended up playing out, but by a point or 2, it seemed like every game. And then last year, being worn out, couldn't bring it, and it brought him down. What you hope is the long off season, we do see Chris Jones go for 12.5 sacks. we see Karlaftis have a 10-sack season, which he's done before. Then you go, okay, we're halfway to a pretty good sack total. Now we blitz our way to a few, 3-4 for a couple other defensive linemen. We blitz our way to 3-4 here and there. All of a sudden, we're at 45 sacks, and we're getting back to being a team that can actually get after the quarterback. Our Mason Thomas gets 7. Then you start to feel better. I do like what I see out of Jeffrey Bassa. I mean, he looks rangy. I see what they saw in him, if he's big enough. If, like, the first-team units don't just, like we see guards maul him, because he, like I said, you might want to put 99 on him, or 55, because 31, he looks Kevin Rossish.
Yes.
That's the number I think of when I see 31 out there. I know Priest Holmes wore 31, but he doesn't look much bigger than Priest Holmes either. And so, I can see how it works, but I can also see how it fails.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
And so I don't like feeling that way.
And we talk about the Royals. Can you squint and see next year? It's hard. You have to squint really hard. You'd like to be able to squint really hard and to have to see how it could go poorly for a team as well. Ideally, you go, boy, if you really squint, you can see how things could go off the rails for the Chiefs. You don't even have to squint really for this one, which that I think is cause for concern.
Garrett Nussmeier, you can see the arm talent.
Yep. It's the second game in a row where he's made a throw going to his left across his body like that. If you just watched the replay and didn't know who it was, you'd think it was Mahomes.
I mean,
it wasn't quite on the note, but the guy caught it. It's pretty good.
By the way, that's not across your body.
That's right. Away from your body. I just
want to make sure we're talking about the same play.
Right.
I'm like, did I miss one?
Yeah, it seemed like across the field, the other direction. So I was like, okay, that's two.
Which, by the way, is harder.
Yes, much harder.
And so I do like the arm talent with that kid. So I think I don't know that we aren't going to be saying Nussmeier should be the 2 and Fields the 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I feel good. I like the idea of Fields being there, and I think you've got some kind of gimmicky plays for him to run the ball, I'm assuming, that presents a threat for defenses, and he's a real change-up. And then a year of apprenticeship for Nussmeier to just be in the room, learn the offense and everything. And then next year, you've got a 7th-round salary as the only other quarterback on the roster. And hopefully you're deeper. But this is a good year to keep 3 because I don't see the depth.
No.
We did our 53 last week on our Red, Gold, and Bold, and I'm still adding guys. I'm not trying to figure out who to cut.
You're right.
I'm like,
another troubling sign.
Yeah, which maybe it's just my own pessimism, but that's how it looks to me at this point. 913-3-810-810, the phone number, 913-3-810-810. Talking Chiefs football. We'll talk some Royals baseball. You're in the program. Talking a little Chiefs football here in the program. 913-810-810, the phone number. Chiefs got one more preseason game to try to put it all together, and then they set sail with a big game against the Denver Broncos. What did they do in their second? I know they roasted Atlanta in the first preseason game. What did they do in their second one?
I think they did something similar to that.
Look like they might be pretty good.
Could be. Let me see.
Tough first game for sure. 913-810-810. Let's get Darren in here. You're in the program, Darren. What's going on?
Hey, Saran, how's it going, man?
Good,
hey.
man. What's on your mind?
Well, hey, I was just thinking, I was listening to you earlier as you was evaluating each player on the Chiefs, and it made me remember not long ago I watched a movie on, I don't know if it was Netflix or Prime or something, about the James Webb Telescope, and as they put it up, or as they were designing it, they identified what they called single point failures, and they had like any of those single point failures would ruin the entire mission. If something failed, that was it. It was done. And they had like 78 different points that if this arm didn't reach out, then the deal was done and it was wasted. And I thought, well, that would be kind of an interesting exercise to go through and do with the football team, with the Chiefs. You know?
How many single point failures are there?
Yeah. So it's like if Mahomes is down, single point failure, he's done.
Yes,
right? So
that's definitely one.
Other single points. Yeah. So I thought that'd be kind of an interesting exercise.
I like that. I'm trying to think here. Mahomes for sure. I think in most years that would be it, but I'm going to say Mahomes. You'd like to believe that Pat scrambling around could help out. I mean, we know he can help out an offensive line. He's taken two banged-up offensive lines all the way to the Super Bowl, and then it was just too much in the Super Bowl. So are we talking about single-point failures for winning a game, or are we talking about for winning all of them?
Well, I guess you could look at it both ways, but
right, like to win a Super Bowl, I would say.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so to win a Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Josh Simmons. I think that might be it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at running back they're better. And if Pat's firing, I mean, I might need to say Rashee Rice as well, which, oh, God. Counting on Rashee Rice, to get it, not good.
Right.
So I'd lean towards, I think I'm going to have to say Rashee Rice as well. And maybe Mansour Delane. I think he's going to, because I think Noel Williams is going to be good, but Christian Fulton's a no-show. L'Jarius knee is a problem, and Kennedy's a fifth-round rookie. So I think Mansour Delane. So I think, in the spirit of your question, I think it'd be easy to cop out and be like, Pat's the only guy they can't live without. But to go win, in all likelihood, what is 3 or 4 playoff games in a row, which is more likely for them to need 4 playoff wins in a row to win a championship, I think it's Patrick Mahomes. It's in this order probably. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Simmons, Chris Jones, Mansour Delane, Rashee Rice, and I think that's my list.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking there might be more on the offensive line, but I think you're probably right. I mean,
listen, maybe I should put Creed Humphrey in there. I do think I've always been mostly off the PFF grades. But when I watch Hunter Norzad play, I don't see a guy getting smoked. So I feel like they can replace one, right? They've played with Mike Caliendo, but Mike Caliendo has been a part of the ass kickings too, right? I remember Mike Caliendo getting pretty worked against the Eagles. So I'm optimistic, and they play Caliendo over Hunter Norzad, so theoretically the Chiefs think Hunter Norzad's worse. But I am optimistic that they could survive any one interior spot going down because they can put Hunter Norzad in. I don't think they can survive losing a tackle, or losing Josh Simmons, because then I think you have 2 backups basically, and I don't think you can lose 2 interior guys. I think they need someone to become a legit number 1, and it's not going to be Travis Kelce. If it is Travis Kelce, you're just going to be so grinding. I mean, so without big plays. I think Rashee Rice has a chance to be the guy that, 88 catches with 61 first downs. He's just moving the chains all the time. And then you get the big plays here and there from other spots. Mm-hmm. And I might, if I were going to add one more, it'd be Kenneth Walker, because I do think he's got home run material in it, but I do like their depth at running back. So if I added one more, I'd add Kenneth Walker.
All right. Well, I thought that was kind of an interesting way to look at things. So
Yeah, and Andy Reid, and then let me add Andy Reid.
Oh yeah.
He can't have a health scare and be taken away from the team. Definitely not early. Enough people have not given Eric Bieniemy the job. I think you'd probably put. I think this organization might put Dave Tobe in as the head coach. Give the play calling duties to Eric Bieniemy, and Steve Spagnuolo already does it. And then because he is the associate head coach, and I don't think that'd be a bad thing. And then does a Chad O'Shea, who's been a pass game coordinator, can he step up? Can he and Blameyer fill in for Andy Reid? But Andy Reid would be the next guy on that list, not that Andy Reid's healthy for all year. And at 68 years old, I think that's a relevant thing to mention.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
I like that, Darren. Get me another fun exercise. I don't know if anybody enjoyed listening to it, but I enjoyed doing it.
I thought it was awesome.
All right, I enjoyed listening to it.
All right, thanks, Darren. I appreciate the call. 913-810-810, the phone number.
Single point failure?
Single point failure. There were 176 on that project. Well, the Chiefs are in way better shape.
I would think.
What did I come up with? 5? Mahomes, Simmons, Jones, Delane, Rice, with maybe Kenneth Walker, maybe Andy Reid. That's 6 and 7 in some order.
Seems like a lot.
A lot of different spots, and if they don't work, that's why I think we're all picking them for 10 or 11 wins, aren't we?
Yes.
Are you going to say Chiefs win it all on your predictions? Kyle?
No.
Unbeaten.
I don't know that I'm going to go with the Rams either, though. I gotta find somebody else. I think that I find it hard to believe Matt Stafford is going to be healthy the whole way on the Rams. I know they look good, but I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with that. Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, we'll talk some baseball. What does Jeff Passan think? How important is this 8-game winning streak to Jeff Passan? Well, you're going to find out. Just sit tight as long as he answers his phone, which was a chore on the drill. Then we'll get to the bottom of that with Jeff.
All right, how long is the Royals' longest winning streak ever? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Jeff Passan's appearance here in the program brought to you by our friends at Roberts Robinson. Chevrolet GMC, they are the best to deal with, I can tell you. Always enjoy our experience with Roberts Robinson. Service department, absolutely fantastic. You know, they'll come pick you up. They do an unbelievable job. In fact, right now, take advantage of the special employee pricing. Right now, employee pricing for everyone on select 26 GMC Sierra 1500s plus 0% financing available for qualified buyers on select 26 GMC Sierras and Chevy Silverados. So take advantage of that right now. You're going to love working with Roberts Robinson. That's why they're winning award after award after award. Voted the #1 dealership, voted #1 service. That's Roberts Robinson. Find them online at robertsrobinson.com, and you can experience the same great award-winning service that people like me and my family have experienced. Check them out. Everything you need, it starts at robertsrobinson.com. Let's welcome Jeff Passan here to the program. Jeff, how are you, sir?
Not as good as the Royals, Seren.
8 straight wins, Jeff. 8. I mean, they're right back in the middle of this thing, aren't they?
I'm not going to go that far.
Okay, all right. I didn't know how far you wanted to go, so I thought I'd play it up for you.
Trust me, like I've had friends over the last few days who were like, "Are the Royals going to make the playoffs?" And I was like, "I don't know about that. I think they've done them. Like the American League stinks, but I don't know that it stinks that much." That being said, it's nice to have seen, at least at some point this year, the offense that I thought we were going to see at the beginning of the season. And, you know, at the beginning of the year, I said the Royals are a top 10 offense in baseball. And they've been, at least over these last 8 games, the #1 offense in baseball, scoring more runs than anyone else. And, you know, when you look at the numbers, Seren, it's like, yeah, you don't expect, you know, 4 or 5 guys to have weighted on bases, you know, over 425 at any given time. But the guys who are hitting, Bobby Witt, Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, Michael Garcia, Jack Caglione, John Rave, like they've gotten the types of performances out of guys that they both expected and even unexpected ones. So it's been nice that Royals fans, at very least, have been treated to this for a week of glory.
What would it take? I mean, what is it going to take when it's all said and done? The third wild card in the American League will have what record? Right now, holding the spot is Cleveland at 65 and 66.
65 and 66. Yeah, I think 500 will get it done. 500. Yeah. So that means the Royals essentially need to win 23 of 30 games to be in the mix.
Yes, they need to go 23-7.
Do you see that happening?
No, God, no. No. I mean, I think all you need to know is that they've gone 8-0 and they've gone from 11 out to 7.5 out.
Right. And that's, look, they're closer than I thought they were going to be, but this is still a team that's 16 games under 500. And that's after an 8-game winning streak. So this to me, the question that this brings up now is, okay, looking at next year, what do they need to compete? Which of the guys who are doing this right now are going to be back, and who are the core guys at this point, and how are you going to address them in the offseason? Is it going to be before the lockout? Is it going to be after the lockout? Like, what's the strategy right now?
Well, and I think also, well, first of all, before we stray too far away from what we think they're going to do, what do you think they're going to end up at right now? Where are you feeling?
So 30 games left. I think they go 70-92.
70-92. So you've got them.
I think they are more the team that they've been all season than the team that they've been over the last week and change.
The one thing you've got put the standings in front of you and tell me how many games above or below 500 each one of the teams that they're going to play. 3 in Toronto.
4 games under.
3 in Cleveland. 1 under.
1 under.
3 versus Miami.
3 over, I believe. Yeah, that's correct. 3
Okay.
over.
Toronto.
As we said, 4 under.
Arizona.
But Toronto's playing better. For what it's worth.
Yeah, they are. Arizona.
Diamondbacks 7 over.
Okay, that there's the second one over. At Boston.
I believe 12 over.
Okay. At Houston.
1 under.
And fired their GM. At Pittsburgh.
I think 6 under.
White Sox at home.
6 over.
And then the Guardians at 1 under. So they play the White Sox, Boston,
Arizona,
and Miami that are over. That is how many was that? 5 teams?
4
teams. And then they play Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Houston, Toronto, and Toronto.
Yeah.
That are all under. So
yeah, they don't play a bad team. They also don't play a great team.
Right.
I think to me, Pittsburgh. Let's just look at run differential. Pittsburgh, positive run differential. Toronto, not positive, but I bet you if you look in the last month, it's quite positive. Cleveland and Houston both could be over 500 in 2 days. So it's the ceiling. They're not playing the Dodgers. They're not playing the Brewers. They're not playing the Braves or even the Rays or Yankees in the American League. So they're not playing those teams that are demonstrably better than them, but they're also I don't know that they're going to be favored in a single game the rest of the season.
Yeah, there's no more Angels or A's or Rockies or Giants. But to your run differential, +9 and +21 are the Diamondbacks and Marlins. So they're over, but the run differential says that they're not that good. So +30 collectively there. I'm just going to tally this up. They've got, the Blue Jays, who are -55, and they've got them twice. So that's a -110, so that's -80 overall. And then they've got the Guardians twice at -9, so that's -18. So that's -98 overall. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Boston at +99, which means it's +1 overall.
Yes, it's pretty much dead even.
By the way, did I say Houston? We have Houston on there too, don't we?
Yeah, we got Houston twice.
So
-88.
-88. So overall, -87 on the run differential on what's left on the schedule right now.
Yeah.
So like 16 and 14, 17 and 13 feels like probably the best they could do, and that's not going to be good enough. But where I was leading up to when I asked what do you think they're going to be is just, if they do go, let's say they go 16 and 14 or 17 and 13 plus that 8-game win streak, it'd be real easy to be like, we're 25 and 13 in the last 38. We're a pretty good club. That's who we think we are. We're not changing nothing.
Right.
That's the fear for Royals fans.
And an understandable fear.
Do you think they would view it that way?
I hope not.
Well, hope in one hand, crap in the other, Jeff. Let me know which one fills up faster.
I don't disagree with you one bit, Saran. I'm just saying I hope not. I think they could. And I don't know. I mean, they're healthy finally. Vinny Pasquantino actually looks like Vinny Pasquantino right now, right?
Yep.
Like that to me has been the most exciting part of this whole thing. He's been back. He's had 30 plate appearances over the last week and hasn't struck out. And to me, like the sign that Vinny Pasquantino of just how right he is his strikeout rate, because he's, when he's struggling, he'll expand the zone, he'll chase, there'll be some swing and miss there. When he's on things, when he's seeing the ball well, when he's healthy, when he's confident, that's when he can be your rare slugger who doesn't punch out.
What is his future? Like, what is the next 6 years? Is he eventually going to not be on this team and he's going to go into a platoon and he's just going to pound righties and he'll be a legend for some big market team that pays pretty good money to have him just hit righties? Is that where this heads, or what does the rest of his career look like?
So, Ren, do you have beef with Vinny Pasquantino?
I love Vinny Pasquantino. He's the first jersey I bought since Carlos Beltran.
You are trying to send him to DH in platoon status on the weekly.
Well, I don't think, first of all, I think Jack Caglione has the bigger upside. And
I agree.
They have shown no proclivity to do anything with Salvador Perez. I mean,
I mean, maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's the.
It definitely is the issue.
It's the thing that we're not addressing quite the same. That is the most pertinent. And yes, Vinny Pasquantino has not been as effective against left-handed pitchers in his career. I think OPS is 150 plus points lower. So I'm not saying that is an entirely unreasonable point by you. I just don't think that Vinny Pasquantino is a platoonable guy right now. I think he's too good with the bat to do to him. So I think that his career will be more. And I don't know if that's in Kansas City. I don't know if he has to go somewhere else for that, but he's had some good years here. They just, there hasn't been the one where we've seen him at his best and he has stayed healthy the whole time.
Well, you don't think that was last year at 32 and 113?
I think there's more.
Really? So you don't think last year is going to end up being his career year?
No, I do not think it is.
Wow. Okay.
I think the on base percentage has a chance to be higher. That to me is where there's room. Where if he's healthy and if he's in there for a whole year, and if he's in a lineup where driving in runs is not as important, where just like being the best version of himself, I don't think last year was the best version of himself.
So let me ask you a question: if he were on the Yankees, would they bat him against left-handers?
I mean, is Ben Rice around?
I mean, just my point is like from a Royals perspective, and I think the Royals are definitely guilty of this, but I think somewhat those of us that cover, and definitely everybody who roots for them, are absolutely guilty of, no, we're going to find 8 everyday guys that can hit righties and lefties instead of just acknowledging, like the Yankees will acknowledge it because they're like, yeah, fine, we'll pay him to just hit righties. We'll pay somebody else to just hit lefties. We'll do it. But because of the small market nature of things, it works a lot better if you can just pay one guy and handle all those at-bats. I think the Yankees would be like...
That's true, but the team that's worked platoons as well as anyone is the Rays. So they... Of course, it's nice if you have a guy who can hit both sides, but I don't think that's a big market, small market thing.
I think it's easier. I think the Rays are completely stone cold math nerds, and they live by that. And I think the Yankees have the money to just be like, this is what he can do. Like, if he proves us better that he can do more than just crush righties, but we'll pay somebody to come, just hit the other side. And they'll also look at him and go, and you know what? They keep trying to get him to play 155 games. It's not going to happen. We're going to chart him for 120. So make sure I got a guy who can play 40 games at first base, because I'm not even going to try to get more than 120 out of him. And then all of a sudden it's like, then you see that on base percentage and he still hits 30 home runs. And then, that's where it just seems like to me, the money, the ability to buy your way past the shortcomings allows you to be more honest in what a guy is, because you have the resources to go fill in whatever he's not. You'll look harder at what he's not, and you'll seek it, and you'll find it, and you'll be honest with yourself. Where the Royals want to believe, no, he's going to handle it all.
I think they should believe that when you put up years like he has, facing everyone and not being a platoon guy. I mean. I don't care what kind of platoon you put together, Saran. I don't know how many there have been in history that have gone and been 30 and 100. Like we know that Vinny Pasquantino's got that in him. So I don't know what's the goal in limiting that.
Well, because they're not a little back. Let's back up. Is Salvador Perez going to play like a backup catcher next year?
I would think so.
Why?
Why wouldn't he?
Well, because he's backup catcher and that's it. We're not playing him at first. We're not playing him at DH because Vinny's taking those at bats, and Jack Caglianone's taking those at bats, and the right-handed outfielder we get is taking those at bats.
Yeah, I think unless
you think that will happen.
I'm not saying I think that will happen. I think that should happen.
Well,
be a big difference.
Right, and so when you're going to play Salvi over at first, then you start, sending big guys out to the outfield and so on and so forth. I mean, that's where it all starts. It all starts right there with we're going to play Salvi because we don't want to upset Salvi. So,
yeah, and that's where I think this offseason, one of those important things the Royals are going to do or need to do is to have that conversation with Salvador Perez.
But I mean,
to have the true, open, honest, fully transparent, not discussion, but conversation. Like, this is how it's going to be. This is what we're going to do. This is what we need from you. End of story.
And that's great if they do it and it goes over well and they can field the best team on a regular basis and they go out and truly seek to have the players on the roster that allow them to do that and not be like, well, he's our best right-handed bat, so we're going to play him. Yeah, because you didn't go get anyone. You didn't trade any prospects to bring in a guy who can legitimately do the job, and so you just cop out. And because I screamed about that all last offseason. This is what has to happen. First of all, you should walk on Salvador Perez, but if you're not, when the pen is in his hand and you're holding the contract back behind you, now wait a minute, I'm going to give it to you, but I want to be clear, this is how it's going to work. That was when it should have happened.
Totally.
Yeah.
Better late than never?
Yes, better late than never. That's where we are now because the best time walked out the door already. So yeah. What else?
Yeah, I mean, Carter. I think we're in agreement. Carter Johnson needs to play 120 games next year.
Yes, he needs to be the everyday. He needs to carry the full catching workload of a guy who's got a big bat and can catch. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Agreed. That needs to happen for this team. And first basemen need to play first, and outfielders need to play outfield. And I don't mind if Salvi cycles through that DH spot, but it needs to be along with them having the resources of putting this team together. And I think even if you have to go hat in hand, owners will go, all right, listen, probably shouldn't have done the Lugo deal, but that will come off the books. In the meantime, this is what I need. And if we had those resources from Lugo, I would buy this. Can we buy that? And let's go over at a time that we're trying to, build around this core of Bobby and Jack Caglianone and see if ownership will give it to you.
Yeah, I think it's imperative that ownership does. Like this, not that. Here's the thing. If you're going to commit to winning next year, and that is seemingly what they've done. That's what they did, I think, at the trade deadline by not moving Michael Wacha and by not moving Seth Lugo. And Lugo, I'm not sure how movable Lugo was, just because of the contract. Wacha, they could have found someone to take that deal. And by keeping him, they're saying we are going to try to win next year. But how are they going to prioritize whatever money John Sherman gives them? Because this is, in spite of an 8-game winning streak, a team that still does have very clear holes. And which are they going to prioritize filling? Is it going to be rotation? Is it going to be bullpen? Is it going to be offense and everyday guys? I don't know. It's a lot of work to do still for this team to be successful, I think, next year.
We're talking with Jeff Passan, Major League Baseball insider. The Astros have fired their general manager. Does this mean it's time to rip it up? And, they were the first ones to really, lean into the tank. Is that coming after this year?
No, that is not. This is Jim Crane being an impatient owner. And I think Dana Brown was gone regardless, but the fact that the Astros have a tenuous grip on first place in the American League West right now was the impetus behind this.
So should they be leaning into blowing it up after this year? I mean, I know they're in the mix because of how bad the division is, but they're definitely a team that's been on the decline for several years.
If they were going to surrender, then they should have traded Jeremy Pena and Yordan Alvarez. Like, that to me would have signaled huge tank job.
That could still come in the off season.
good. Yeah, you're not wrong. Pena's got Alvarez has multiple as part of a long-term contract. I think he's got 3 more after this year. But Jim Crane has essentially indicated to everybody in the industry, as long as I am owner, we will keep trying to win. So I honestly just don't think that that's in the cards. But beyond that, tanking's not nearly as good as it used to be. And I appreciate the fact that the draft lottery was implemented, because I think it's gone a long way toward curbing that sort of behavior. Like, if you look around baseball right now, Seren, how many teams are actively tanking? Like, came into this year thinking, we're going to stink, we're not going to win, and that's okay. There was one. It was Colorado Rockies. Even the teams that looked like they were going to be terrible, the Nationals have been serviceable. The Angels were trying to win. The A's were trying to win. The Mets were trying to win. Like, the Royals were trying to win. All these teams that have been near the bottom were at least efforting for a playoff spot. So tanking in baseball, I'm not going to say we're past that era, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as it was like you had with the Astros or with the Orioles.
When I was actually on ESPN the day that the Shohei Ohtani deal came down, and you came on and joined us, and we talked about that deal and the nature of it, with only $20 million being paid to him on the annual basis, and then the other, what, 580, I think it was, or 680, 680 being paid to him in the 10 years after that. And I said, this just doesn't smell right, right? And they had a reason, but I mean, that should have been it. That should have been the alarm bells about Mark Walter, right? They should have really, really dug in with him, and they would have found out how sketch the Dodgers really are.
Why would that indicate to you that something was off? Because was it just the magnitude of the deferrals?
It just doesn't smell right. Like, the alarm it went off for me. Like, I'm like, I can't put, I equated it to, what was it? With the carbon monoxide. You can't see it, but the alarm's going off saying we got a problem here. Like, I hear this alarm, and I can't see it, but we got to get the hell out of the house.
Here is why I don't agree with that. Because the 10 years, $700 million with $680 deferred was the deal that Ohtani offered. He offered that to the Angels. He offered that to the Blue Jays. He offered that to the Giants, I believe. And of course to the Dodgers. And the Dodgers were the ones who ultimately, it was said yes. And actually every team that was offered it except the Angels went and said yes. But this was something that was originally put out there, not by Mark Walter as a way to push all this money into the future, but by Ohtani with the idea that, hey, if you're paying me only $2 million a year, you can build around it.
I get the concept of it. All right. I do get the concept of it. Like, where does, like, how much is he making in endorsements? Like, what is he taking home each year?
I don't know this for a fact. I have been told it's at least $100 million, and I heard last week from someone the 150 number. I have not verified that, though. I think it is fair to say Shohei Ohtani's making 9 figures off the field annually.
Okay, so he can afford takeout.
I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. Yeah, all right. So, all right. Well, how about looking into their TV deal? Like, as soon as this, like, the Laker thing came out, all of a sudden everybody's pulling all this stuff out that seems like it took them about 5 minutes to find. Like, does baseball even look into what the owners are doing? Or are they just like, don't ask, don't tell?
Well, here's the thing. If you want to understand what's going on, sir, and you can watch Sources Tell Jeff Passan tomorrow, because I have an hour on the subject, and I can talk about all of these things in much greater detail than I could have before. The Dodgers TV deal is about as good of a deal as you can imagine for the team and a genuine separator. Because what happened is the Dodgers were in bankruptcy back in 2011, which is wild to think that you can go from bankruptcy to 15 years later and making $1 billion in revenues. But that's what the Dodgers have done. They were in bankruptcy. Frank McCourt wanted to get the most money possible. And Mark Walter, he's not a dumb guy. Like, he was able to recognize early that the TV deal was going to be an incredible asset and that there was going to be a bidding war. And Major League Baseball, when the court determined that the fair market value of the Dodgers TV deal in the first year is $84 million, and that is all that would be put into revenue sharing, right then and there, the Dodgers and Mark Walter knew that they needed to bid higher than any team had ever been paid for in professional sports history, Seren, because those TV rights were going to be so huge. They wound up getting 25 years and $8.35 billion. And the interesting part is, even afterward, MLB negotiated a higher number for what the Dodgers should put in to the TV pool with that shared revenue. They negotiated it up from $84 million to $130 million in that first year. But that first year actually paid $200 million or so to the Dodgers, which meant that in that first year alone, Seren, they saved around $25 million that they should have put in to be shared with everyone else. That number is only compounded. In the first 12 years of the deal, the Dodgers have saved $500 million plus in television revenue. And by the end of this 25-year deal, if my math is right, and I'm just relying on a spreadsheet and a pull down, and that the math is correct there, but the number was $1.37 billion that the Dodgers will have saved. They then, as part of this whole thing, which is kind of wild, took the TV deal, commoditized it, broke it into pieces, and sold it off to Mark Walter-owned insurance.
Yes!
And that's the part of this that is the shadiest. That's the part of this that the government is looking into, not necessarily that you have, Seren, what are called affiliated investments. You are, as a business person, allowed to sell things to companies that you own. Affiliated investments in and of themselves are not inherently bad. Problem is, when you have a lot of affiliated investments, it can become problematic, and when you don't disclose what those affiliated investments were. And that's what the government is looking into him for right now.
It's all crap.
Yeah, it's all business. It's all it's the reason that people hate Wall Street, because they invent products and, it's just money and paper and things moving around in different places. And it's so difficult to understand if you are not in the business. But what it ultimately comes down to in this situation is that Mark Walter bought life insurance companies and annuity companies and is taking the money that people give for their policies and putting it in investments that are not nearly as stable as the ones that we've come to expect from life insurance and annuities. These are not bonds like your typical government bonds. No, these are exotic investments. And more than, according to a lawsuit in 2014 by a couple of policyholders, more than half the money that the Dodgers spent, that Mark Walter and his consortium spent to buy the Dodgers, came from the life insurance and annuity policies of old people.
Well, and at the time, that's where I come back. Does baseball even try? Isn't that what, because he lost out the guy who owns the Mets, Steve Cohen, he tried to buy the Dodgers and got beat out by this bid, and he even said to Major League Baseball, yeah, but where is the money coming from? And they didn't listen.
Yeah. And listen, over time, Mark Walter's reputation, at the time, it was interesting. Nobody really knew who he was. He was just not going to say he was small time by any means. His company had $125 billion of assets under management. So, that's a pretty large chunk right there. But in the world of big finance, even now, $370 billion of assets under management. They're the 50th. Oh boy.
I just got a text from someone that Guggenheim's loan rate just dropped to 73 cents on the dollar. So that is essentially saying that any paper owned by Guggenheim, people think that the chance of default or the chance of it going bad is a lot higher than it was even a month ago.
Yes, when you sell the Lakers after 9 months, yes. It's way worse than we think right now. I guarantee you there's more to come. It's way worse. And let me just tell you, because I don't want to bore people with the non-baseball part of the business part of things. But let me say this. The real thing that everyone should keep in mind is he has basically taken the premiums of insurance and bought stuff, and he has not defaulted yet. It wasn't the insurance industry that caught this, right? Like, because that means how much do you think insurance companies are screwing everybody?
Well, Saran, let me say this. Reinvesting policies is something that every insurance company does. Like, insurance companies don't just take premiums and sit there with them and say, we're just going to keep this in a piggy bank for a rainy day. No, it's the sort of thing where they're trying to make money, but how are they trying to make money? Yes. That's the question. And how risky are they willing to be?
But they have so much of it compared to what they're on the hook to pay out.
Yep.
That they can splash it around on literally whatever they want, and they're still not, like the Enron thing ended when people started retiring. Like, well, we don't have any money. Well, they've not had to tell anyone we don't have any money while they're buying all this crap on the side for their own pleasure.
Yeah, and I don't know that they don't have money. I don't know that that's what it is, but they are fast and loose with their money, and it is a giant tangled web.
All right, Final Four time. Jeff Passan is with us, Major League Baseball insider. The podcast is called Passan Has Sources.
Sources tell Jeff Passan.
I know. I just wanted to act like I didn't know. Sources tell. Because it's funnier.
Why would you troll me like that?
It's funnier because I'm going to do it every time. I'm going to come up.
Okay, then why am I on the program with Curtis Siebold?
Because Curtis Siebold demanded you be on it. That's why. No-brainer on that one. It is a great podcast. You can also watch it. They run it on one of the ESPN networks too. So you can check out the glorious mop that is Jeff Passan on the TV as well. All right.
Day too.
Why isn't the handshake line that we saw in the Little League game, why isn't that standard procedure for Major League Baseball?
Because those are children and these are adults, and you don't need to shake hands.
No, the adults did it. The two teams do it at the Little League World Series.
Oh, it's the Little League Classic. Yeah, I think that's hard pass on that.
Yeah. One time we can act like adults and be like, it's just a game and shake hands. The rest of the time,
why do you need to shake hands after a game, Saran?
Let's just show sportsmanship. Be a good example. Why'd they do it at the Little League World Series if you don't need to do it?
Because they're tryhards.
No, because they're hypocrites. Because they looked around and went, "Oh, I can actually see the kids." That's why. Paul Skeens has how many career wins when it's all said and done?
214.
No chance.
I'm in. Fully in, Petro.
Okay, he's just showing it. Never mind about the 5 mile per hour drop. He's just showing the ball too much. Okay.
No, it's not that. His mechanics are screwed up right now, but I have faith that he's going to get them right.
Okay. Kyle Schwarber, Hall of Fame, yes or no?
Ooh. Good question. I think no.
Really? He's about ready to pass Babe Ruth for the most home runs in like first 5 years on a club. He's like 10 home runs away.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's also he's 34, I believe now.
Yes, but he's built like a refrigerator.
I have a hard time betting on old DHs. I hope he makes it. I think he's a lovely human being and a great leader and an awesome ball player. I just think the start for this peak era of his career was a little late.
He's in my Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So I hope that makes it up to him if he doesn't make it.
A Hall of Fame of one.
Yeah. No, there's others. There's others like him. The Dodgers sell when?
You asked me this last week, right?
I'm asking again because things have changed. I don't think so, did I?
Yeah, I think you did.
Well,
and I said
fine.
3
It's still
years.
pertinent because we got new information.
I'm sticking with 3 years.
Yeah, we did. I did. That was a great question last week.
Even better this week.
Even better because of all the new information. Still 3 years? Totally wrong.
Yeah.
No chance. No chance. 12 months, he still owns them. No chance.
All right. I
want to buy me another dinner?
No. First off, I'm not a good bettor, but I also, this goes back to the pretending what we know. And I don't pretend what I don't know. You are an expert at that. You are fantastic at pretending you know things you don't.
I can just read the signs, man.
With the conviction and definitiveness only a sports talk radio host can, and that's why we love you, Saran.
I can read the signs, man. I'm telling you. 12 months. It just keeps getting worse, Jeff. Do you think this train is going to slow down? It's a full-on freight train coming down the Rockies. Do you think someone's hitting the brakes on it? It ends with him out, and it ends sooner than later.
Yeah, I wonder. Let's put it this way: these sorts of things in court cases tend to take multiple years if it comes to that. But beyond that, I think Mark Walter would sell literally everything he owns before he sells the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think that'll probably happen too. The signs are there, Jeff. Read the signs, Jeff. Read the signs. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy that podcast.
See you, pal.
The program with Soren Petro.
If you can work the little one-hand tug, it's a little easier.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. My guys at Applause Custom Sight and Sound are the best when it comes to smart home technology, building those in-home theaters. Listen, football season's here. Do you have the ultimate setup to watch the games? How about multiple TVs? Do you love to watch all the NFL games? They can integrate everything to where you can have 3, 5, a whole video wall. Watch every single game right there and control it all from your smartphone. How about integrating the sound where you got perfect surround sound so it sounds like you're in the stadium, right? Multiple TVs around the basement, outside, wherever you want to put them, all working together. Lighting, music. That's right. How about streaming your music however you want? How about integrating everything to where it's lighting, music, TV, everything, one button controlling it all? That's right. We had some folks over last night for a little fantasy football, and when it was all done, oh, man, I'm kind of tired. I want to go upstairs. Going to turn off all the lights. Nope. We just hit the all-off button at the top of the stairs, and it turns everything off. That's great for when you have kids, too. When you're leaving the house, well, did little Joey leave their bedroom light on? It doesn't matter. I'll hit that all-off button, and it's all taken care of. Security surveillance, yep, that's what we added the last time with Applause. That's an important part of the equation as well. Applause builds it right the first time. So as technology evolves or you have something that you want to add on to the system is already ready to have that. So we wanted to add the security and surveillance. Took about a day to install everything. Didn't have to do much. It was about a one-day project. Now we can see 360 around our house. We get alerts anytime somebody pulls in, anytime somebody walks up to the door, and I can look at it no matter where I am. That's Applause Custom Sight and Sound. The best in the business. That's why they've been doing this for almost a quarter century. Call 913-498-1183. Find them on the web at applausetheater.com.
Hey, I'm Brian Sight.
And I'm Zachary Sight. And when you've been in the automotive business as long as our family has, you learn something pretty important. Selling the vehicle is only the beginning.
At Bob Sight Auto Group, we want to be the place you turn to for every automotive need. Whether you're shopping for Ford, Honda, Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, our teams are here to help you find what's right for you without making it complicated.
And once it's in your driveway, we're still here. Our factory-trained technicians can handle everything from everyday maintenance to the service your vehicle needs to get down the road.
Had an accident? Bring it to the Bob Sight Collision Center. We repair all makes and models with experienced technicians, advanced equipment, and a team focused on getting you back behind the wheel.
4 locations, 7 brands, and generations of customers who've trusted the Sight family with all their vehicle needs.
Come see why. Visit all 4 Bob Sight locations in Kansas City and Lawrence, or shop anytime at bobsight.com.
The Bob Sight Auto Group. Trust is our tradition.
If you got a DUI, who would you be most embarrassed to find out?
Probably my siblings, especially being the oldest.
Why is that?
I can tell that they look up to me, even if sometimes I wish they wouldn't.
Yeah?
That's obviously not something that you want someone to look at you as, oh, that's my brother, he got a DUI.
Ouch.
I know I'd never hear the end of it.
A message from KDOT and your Kansas law enforcement community.
Apologizing his comments.
Rolling on here with the fourth quarter as we finish strong here on a Monday. Time to give you the things you need to know.
Because you need to know them.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Duh.
That's what we're getting at, right?
I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So let's start with some Andy Reid. He spoke today to the unwashed masses that are the Kansas City sports media.
The scribes, the ink-stained fingers of the scribes.
Yeah, well, I'll take it. But as we get ready for the final preseason game and looking back on what occurred in the Saturday night game number 2, let's start with week 1. When it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid not yet ready to commit to Pat being there for the opener.
Listen, he's doing great. We'll just see. I'm literally taking it day by day. There are no predictions here on anything, but if the doctors and the trainers and everybody that are involved with this give him an okay, then and then most of all, if he feels like he can, then we'll address that when we get there.
He said the other night that he had wanted to play or hoped to play. Is that a medical or training thing that held him back, or coach's decision, or a combination?
Yeah, he wants to play every weekend, but
but if he's still not cleared to do so, I guess is the question.
Yeah, probably not cleared enough.
I don't quite know what that means. Not cleared enough. He kind of did it with a smile. That's not a literal designation, but
I mean, he has not taken part in full contact, but they never do. The quarterback never does. So
no.
It is. My first reaction was like, "Come on, he's doing everything in practice like he normally would." But the quarterbacks don't do everything in practice, so there's wiggle room there. There's wiggle room there. We all certainly think it looks like he is trending to be ready for week 1. We'll see if it does indeed happen for that game against the Broncos. My expectation is that he will play. Reid talked about getting Trey Smith back and about how his return will go.
Yeah, well, we'll see. See how he does today. We'll ease him back in, but he wants to get out there and get going. It's been killing him not to be out there, so he's kind of wired that way.
He definitely is one of those guys who always wants to be out there as well. How tough is it for him to set out this last little bit?
No, Trey loves to play, and but it was important that he let that thing heal up like he did, and I think it'll pay off for him down the road.
Okay.
Put
a pin in that one.
Pay off for him down the road. Put a pin in it. Why? In what way?
Well, if he's not, doesn't help him down the road, we'll go, well, he said thought it would help, and it didn't. No, we don't know what would have been worse had they tried to play him, but still.
How about Khalil Benson? A lot of excitement about him early on. Had a rough day in the game Saturday night. Reid said Benson was better than it may have looked.
Yeah, so we've kind of moved this kid all over the place, and he did some good things. He's got some things he's got to work on, but you can see the talent there. He opened the gate a couple times on his drop, but he's got a lot of talent and he wants to do the right things, and he's got the ability to do it. It's just getting these reps. We went silent count too, which was new to him, and so you saw he was laid off the ball a couple times, but all of that he banks, and it'll be important once we start the season for him.
Okay. Well, we've been moving him around. Yeah.
And the only thing he said there that had, to me, true legitimacy was the silent count thing. But, well, that's something you'll have to figure out.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have him do it at some point.
All right, how about Mansour Delane? Or he liked what he saw from the rookie?
Yeah, you obviously could see the athletic ability, the feet, and the instincts there. He was not afraid to stick it in there. He's a physical kid, and I think he just builds on that and goes. But you obviously see the talent, and like I said, he's like the other rookies. Will there be a mistake here? Yeah, there's going to be a mistake here or there, but as long as he keeps that attitude, and if no other position you have to have a short memory, that's the one you've got to have, and so you learn from whatever mistake you make and you move forward.
I think one of the things everybody liked on the selection of Mansour Delane was the fact that he's already a corner that plays with a physical style. That's definitely how the Chiefs like their corners to play. Delane was asked about showing that physicality in his first game.
Yeah, I think that's my big thing. Like I said, if you're going to do something wrong, do it full speed. So, I mean, that's kind of how I play the game. Just, playing fast. My first game out there, I'm not timid. I'm not scared. I'm going to do everything 100%. So I just really want to put that on display.
It's early here, but just going up against Pat and NFL caliber receivers, I guess what's been the biggest challenge when you compare it to your college experience?
I would say little room for error. I think that's the biggest thing I learned, especially playing with Pat. Like, you could be in great position, in college it may work, but, every little flaw that you may have, he's going to pick it out. So really just allowed me to stay on top of my toes and, really just become a better player.
Yep. The one play where he just blows it. He didn't get credit for it because it forced the guy inside. But that was the first time I saw him actually do something. I was like, whoa, there's some explosion and some ability to read what the play was going.
Yeah, I think we saw what we needed to see. Like, okay, this is why that this was the guy, right? It doesn't mean he's going to be Sauce Gardner or yet, but you see why he was the guy in the cornerback class in this year's draft. So that was definitely one of the biggest positives about this. Emmett Johnson was probably game one's biggest positive. Mansour Delane was probably game two's biggest positive. We'll come back, wrap things up with the kicker.
The program with Soren Petro.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Gary Joslin's been a great friend to Sports Radio 810 WHB for years, and he's been a great friend to Kansas City for years. Been a great friend to anybody looking to get that perfect gift. For generations, Gary Joslin and his staff have helped Kansas City celebrate engagements and anniversaries and birthdays, life's biggest moments, with exceptional jewelry and unmatched personal service. It's the best customer service you're going to find around. You're treated like family the moment you walk in the door. Mom and pop jewelry store, you bet. Some of his competitors, some of the big box people, they kind of snicker at that. And Gary loves it. You bet, Mom and pop. He's there, his wife's there, his daughter's there, and they're all experts in jewelry. Some of his staff has been there for 30 years. You know who likes it too? His staff. Yeah, it's a great place to work in addition to a great place to shop. Why? Because they sell the best jewelry at the best prices. Listen, no matter what your budget is, there is a great gift for you to get at Joslin's. Whether you're looking for the perfect diamond, a luxury timepiece, or a piece that's custom designed, Gary Joslin's has you covered. And he's done thousands of repairs. So if you need a repair, go on in there. A lot of jewelry stores won't do that anymore. Gary will. Joslin Jewelry is on the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch in Overland Park. You can find them online at joslinsjewelry.com. Joslin's Jewelry, the best in Kansas City.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. And if what I'm describing is you, it's likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Heartland Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
In 1900 in Mazatlan, Mexico, 3 German brewers brewed the first Pacifico beer, an exceptionally drinkable Pilsner-style lager, known today for its crisp, refreshing taste and light body. Popular along the West Coast and for those seeking a balanced, easy-drinking beer. Pacifico pairs perfectly with a trip to the beach, a lake weekend, an outdoor get-together with friends, or just firing up the grill. Pacifico is perfect for any of your warm weather activities. Found in Baja, imported by surfers. Pacifico, live life, anchor.
But first, a La Feta delicatessen into the hour answer. How long is the Royals' longest winning streak ever? 16 games back in September of 1977.
Yeah.
Halfway there.
16 and 94, they had, what, a 14 gamer? And then the strike came along. How about this? This is a great story. Kid, loses his scholarship, and Lil Wayne steps in and says, nah, I'm going to take care of that.
Yep. His name is Victory Vaca, formerly from Western Kentucky, signed with Middle Tennessee on Monday. He went home while he was at Western Kentucky to mourn the death of his mother. When he came back, they informed him they were canceling a scholarship due to failure to report with the rest of his team. He's now at Middle Tennessee State. A lot of people took notice in the story, including rapper Lil Wayne, who paid for Vaca's legal fees after hearing about it.
I mean, how great is that?
Pretty damn nice.
Western Kentucky. What a swell crew. How you going home from the funeral? Grief. Mom died.
Brutal. I mean, that's just, but you can play at an NFL preseason game. Come on back.
Yeah.
Go home to mourn your mom. Sorry.
I mean, listen, I'd like to know, was he gone? Was he 2 months late? Was he, I mean, we're not that far into it. I mean, how?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's details, and I'm sure it's not as simple as like, maybe it is. Maybe it's like, yeah, guy isn't that good. We're looking for a reason to cut him. Now we got him. We'll pull the scholarship.
Yeah.
But I think if it were just, if there was a real reason to do it, Lil Wayne probably wouldn't have stepped in, but he's a rich guy.
Very cool.
Spent some money to help a kid out.
Like it.
Middle Tennessee State.
Good on you.
Yeah. Good for you. Thank you, Lil Wayne.